In what has to be one of the best weekends in sports I've seen in a long time. I mean, the World Series was insane great. 27 million people watched that game 7. College football was insane, telling stories all over the National Football League on Sunday. I mean, the Eagles moved into the top spot over the weekend, and they didn't even play a ball game. They were in their bye. I mean, Seattle looks like maybe the second best team in the NFC. And obviously, some trades that were made. We will get to those in a minute. If you remember right, folks, we've been tweeting about Jaylen Phillips since last Thursday. We had talked to Robert Bailey and Drew Rosenhaus, and we were giving you little breadcrumbs each and every single day from Thursday on. Okay? Looks like it. Always sunny, it looks like it. Yes, sir. We've been kind of giving you breadcrumbs from Thursday of last week all the way through Sunday, and it was really over the compensation on the money that was to be paid out by the Dolphins if the Eagles were going to make that trade to get Jaylen Phillips in the building. Jair Alexander was also dealt over the weekend. We're going to give you our takeaways on both here in a minute. So, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Super Chats, as always, sunny. Goes right to the top. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. All right. Let's start with the Jair Alexander move. I don't know. I mean, I really don't think much of it. He is a player that hasn't been on the field really in the last 5 years to any context. He's missed 40 ball games. You know, if you guys want to take an example, remember when Carson Wentz got injured? He was never the same player. Jair Alexander's never been the same player since his injuries have started to pile up. He's an okay player. He couldn't get on the football field in Baltimore. I mean, I think it's a leverage piece to be able to move around and flexibility piece. It's not really a B move or anything. It's kind of like, it's an okay move. The best years are clearly in the guy's rearview mirror. So, I mean, I saw Eagle fans thinking that you traded for Deion Sanders, and the guy was good 3 years ago and about 4 injuries ago. So it's not really a big-time move. Now, it's flexibility move. Obviously, too, it also takes a look at Jacorian Bennett. Obviously, the Eagles don't think shit of him, or they wouldn't have made another deal for a corner. If you think about it, since the season started, Howie Roseman has traded for 3 corners. 3 cornerbacks. It tells you that he absolutely got an F in the offseason for what he did. However, I was just telling Xander this. There's no question he pivoted. And he pivoted quick. Listen, if you have a horrible offseason and you pivot like that, like he did, fantastic. Don't sit back on your mistakes like he has done, not him, but like general managers do. Jason Light, the general manager of the Buccaneers, he needs to get a linebacker and he needs to get a wide receiver. I don't believe he's going to make a move prior to Tuesday's 4:00 deadline. The Bucs might not win the South if he doesn't make a move. That's ego. I think he has to make a move. I think Seattle's better than them. Even though they beat them, I think Seattle's better than them. Seattle had a bunch of guys that were out in that ball game. How he pivoted. And that's what you want your general manager to do, is pivot. He pivoted. And he's made up for the absolute colossal Temu signings this offseason. I don't think Howie's done. I think when it comes to a premier move, he may make some moves off of practice squads to add to the offensive line because they've not gotten anything out of those draft picks that you guys drafted this past April with. I think they need a little more depth in the offensive line. So you may see something to that context. I'm going to get to the Jaylen Phillips, my takeaway here in a minute, on how good a deal do I think this actually is. And I know the player very well, and I'm very close to the player. We had a conversation with him over the weekend, and I know him, and he follows me on X. You can go over to X. I congratulated him, and we've been talking, and I gave him some of the expectations. Obviously, what else is in the room? A former Miami Hurricane defensive lineman is his defensive line coach. Clint Hurt, by the way, folks, when Clint Hurt was trying to make it into the NFL, do you know who his agent was? Drew Rosenhaus. Do you know who the agent for Jaylen Phillips is? Drew Rosenhaus. So there was a connection there. And plus, having played for Vic, he liked Vic. The problem was in the secondary. And the secondary guys had a problem with Vic Fangio and his zone coverage. It wasn't the defensive line guys. The front seven guys had no problem with Vic Fangio. There was really no issues in the front seven when Vic was down at Miami. It was really more with the secondary guys. All right. So let me give you the history of the player. There's nobody in Philadelphia that knows this kid as much as I do and what he's been through. And like I said, the Eagles were after him, and that was their number one target. This started last Thursday. And the preliminary talks started last Tuesday, and Vic came up with the idea right after Zadarius Smith decided to call it a career. He said the kid down in Miami, Jaylen Phillips, is a guy I really liked and worked with well. So the preliminary talks started with Drew Rosenhaus right after Zadarius Smith ended up calling it a career. So that process began then. They weren't really hot and heavy because they wanted to see how it would play out. And they wanted to get to the bye to see what the Dolphins were hesitant at first when it came to making any kind of moves. They didn't want to surrender. The head coach didn't want to surrender yet. The general manager hadn't been fired, Chris Greer. So they really didn't want to make any moves until Chris Greer ended up getting fired. The reasoning that the players, and there's a yard sale going on with the Miami Dolphins right now, is because Chris Greer got fired. These are all Chris Greer's targets and signings and draft picks. So that was one of the reasons why they had to wait. Chris Greer being fired allowed this deal to happen. He didn't want to give up Jaylen Phillips. He just did not. Silz, if Phillips breaks out, I could see him getting a contract extension here. You still draft edge next year high? I would say let's wait and see on that because let's see things play out. Let's see what Nolan Smith does when he comes back. So let me give you a history of Jaylen Phillips, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts on it. Again, the Jair Alexander deal, I don't know. I mean, I know you guys are going to go meatheads over it, but it's not really a big deal. It's more of a flexibility move. I mean, his best years are behind him. Hey, look, he may find the fountain of health, which he's never been able to in the last 5 years. This guy's missed 42% of his games. I mean, he's never going to be healthy again. So I don't know what he's going to bring. He may bring some. I don't know. You know, it's zone defense. You know, you get a chance to play in an umbrella defense. Maybe that helps his game. I don't know. Because remember, when Slay went to a man defense in Pittsburgh, he's been getting eaten up, and he looks washed in Pittsburgh. So he's in a different system there. Tomlin likes press cover corners. Slay can't play press. Okay? He can't play press. He's healthy now, and he still couldn't get on the field. Bro, when he did get on the field, he's one of the worst graded DBs in the National Football League. He's one of the worst graded defensive backs in pro football. Not that good. Again, let me get to Phillips. Guys, Do you know who coached him in college? Do you know who recruited him? Anybody? Do you know who coached Jaylen Phillips and coached him in college? Do you have any idea? No. Anybody? No. It's context. Anybody know? Okay. Manny Diaz coached him in college. When Manny Diaz got fired by the University of Miami as a head football coach, where did Manny go? Manny went to Penn State and became the defensive coordinator at Penn State, and then was recruiting and bringing and developing guys like Michael Parsons, and also was developing guys like Abdul Carter. And when you see how those guys were used at Penn State, those guys were moved around in multiple positions on being able to drop in coverage, setting the edge, and also pass rushing. So if you look at all the edge rushers that were at Penn State, Jaylen Phillips fits the mold of Abdul Carter and a Micah Parsons. Now remember, okay, he is a bigger version of Nolan Smith. Okay, so he gives you the versatility that Vic looks for. He could set the edge. He can play the run. He's a good pass rusher. He's got all of that when healthy. Okay? So he is like, he's a bigger Nolan Smith. All right? So he's a bigger dude. And so he can bull rush. He has great swim techniques. They really liked him on his ability to be able to set the edge. When he was at Miami, I loved him and Russo, the kid that's up in Buffalo. Both of those guys came out, and they were first-round draft choice out of the University of Miami. So I like, and I know both kids very well. I actually helped recruit Jaylen Phillips with Manny Diaz. So we've spoken, and I've known him since he was in high school. I think this is a great move. Now, his health will be the number one. It will be the number one issue that I would have with him is staying healthy. He's already your best edge rusher. And can he be a guy? Someone asked the question earlier. Can this guy be a guy that, because right now he's a rent-a-guy. Remember something, Drew Rosenhaus, if this guy plays well, he's going to be a $25 million guy. Nolan Smith thinks you're a $25 million guy. He is. And so you're going to have to pay this guy if he's healthy and look, the production's not going to be an issue. It's going to be the health. If he could stay on the field, he's a performance type dude that could change your defensive front. Yes, I agree. Like, this is a B+ move. B move maybe because of the health history that the player has. Do you feel, albeit the D has a hole now? No, you're still weak at safety and you're still weak at the corner. But this helps those guys if Phillips can get home, JB. Okay? Angelo Cataldi will be on the program at 3:30. Gary Cobb will be with us at 4:30. Big Z will be with us, and that will be at 5 o'clock. He'll be our Mariano Rivera, and we'll close up with Xander Kraus. So, I mean, he's a guy you can move around. He's very versatile. He was on his way to becoming a star player until he ended up getting injured. You know, the inconsistency of the players that they have had around him, Miami is a shit show right now. But he's a player that is represented by a guy in Drew Rosenhaus that says this: you keep playing, you keep putting good tape on film and you keep putting good production, I'll find a spot for you. And that's exactly what he's done here. Now, again, I've been tweeting since Thursday. I had a 90% understanding that this was going to happen. But when you're dealing with an asshole like Stephen Ross's group, the Miami Dolphins, the Eagles wanted it, but they just wanted to make sure you gave up a 3 for the guy, a late 3, which is more like a 4th-round pick. So at the end of the day, it's a comp pick back if he leaves. You gave up nothing but a couple $1 million for a guy that could turn out to be a special player for you if he produces and stays healthy. It's kind of like you made a move for a guy and didn't give nothing up. I mean, this is a move here. Again, health will be the number one issue with the player. I've known this player for 7 years, all the way back to high school. He's a productive guy. Okay, he can play. He was going around asking us if he should come out of college early. And we were all kind of telling him yes, no, the pros and the cons. I really liked him when he was at Miami. I thought he was a difference maker. I didn't really think he had really great assistant coaching going on down there at the University of Miami at the time when Manny Diaz was the head coach. I like Manny. I think Manny's a good coach. But I think he's gotten better after the firing, being at Penn State, and now what he's doing at Duke. I think he's better. I do. I think he's doing a nice job there. He can spot defensive talent. Okay, got to stay healthy. What does this correct? We're going to get to that. This limits Campbell from getting on the field. Unless it's in 3rd down. This move stunts the growth of Jihad Campbell because the best player is Nakobe Dean. All of those extra edge reps are now gone for Campbell and him getting on the field. He'll see less reps. Now, if they determine that he's the 3rd dude or Nolan Smith gets hurt again, you got to keep him in that rotation. You get him more reps there than maybe even at off linebacker. But the case here, let me stay here with Jaylen Phillips here. I think, but he's got to work on his handwork. Yeah, I think he's pretty good with his handwork. Big Silz, what's your thoughts on how the Packers, or do you talk this up like the Eagles losing to Giants and does this put the Eagles in a post position? I think every week is different in the National Football League. We told you Carolina was going to be one of the more improved football teams. They're now at 5-4, and they've got some pretty good wins on their resume. Carolina's a good team. Not a great team. They're a good team. I told you from day one, Green Bay, let me see it. I think Green Bay's good. Hey, don't go into that game because of what happened this past weekend, reading your press clippings. Remember, if I were them, I would always put that New York Giant game on my radar, knowing that you can lose at any time because you got the shit kicked out of you. Awesome bye week. Hope Cowboys lose tonight. Be the ultimate weekend for the Eagles. One more time here, though, for Jaylen Phillips. It's about a B-plus move. B move if you want to take the history of the health. I think he's got great hands. I think he's got great feet. I think he knows how to play the position. He lines up properly in technique. He can drop. And I heard people saying I would have taken Chubb. Not me. Too expensive? Too old. No, thank you. Give me the younger guy. Give me the younger guy. I could do more with the younger guy. The younger guy has a chance to be here. Chubb doesn't. Okay? And yes, he already is your best edge. There's no question about it. There's nobody on your football team. Now, if you think about it, I want to show you something here. Look how many first-round picks now you have playing on your defensive football team right now. Carter, Davis, Phillips, Campbell, Smith, Q. I mean, shit, you got 5 first-rounders. It's a lot of equity. That's a ton of equity. How does Phillips match up to Josh Sweat? Similar? You know, Xander asked me that. I think Josh Sweat's a really good football player. I think maybe Jaylen Phillips could evolve into that kind of player. He could evolve into it. Josh wasn't exceptional at anything, but he was very good at everything. Okay? I mean, he was very good at everything. Set the edge, played the run, played with a great tenacity, was a good pass rusher. He's a good football player. And I think Jaylen Phillips can evolve into that. I actually think that Jaylen Phillips is a better ball player than Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine Johnson, when he was at Florida State, I liked him. I thought he was a really good football player. But I think Jaylen Phillips is a better football player. When healthy. Health is the key here. Health is the key. Okay? There's nothing he can't do. I'll grade his drops like he's the best edge drop guy you have right now. He's the best edge you have right now. He's the best pass rushing edge you have right now. I think Jalix Hunt will benefit a ton. I think Nolan Smith will benefit a ton from having Phillips on the team. Like I said, I've known the kid a long time. And him and Russo had a good game the other day against the Chiefs. I like these guys. They were highly recruited players at Miami. I thought Manny did a nice job in putting them in position, but the interior defensive tackles at the University of Miami were just not good enough. With these tackles here, in my opinion, Jaylen Phillips will benefit and he'll look even better. Why? Because Carter will collapse the pocket. This kid could have a ton of sacks this year. In his brief time that he has remaining with the Eagles, he might have a ton of sacks. He might have multiple sack. Okay, like he might have multiple sack games because of the interior. Miami's interior stinks. This is our splash trade. Phillips is a beast when healthy. I still would trade him. And 3 ones for Garrett. I mean, listen, Myles Garrett is like trying to find the Hope Diamond in a haystack and hoping it's there. Okay? Probably unrealistic. This guy's a good ball player, though. And he worries on the hair, Big Silz. None. 0. I put gel in it, kid. And by the way, what are you, a fashion consultant? What do you want to date? Silz, over under 10 sacks. I think because it's only 10 games left, or 9 games left, I'll tell you this. If he ended up getting you 6 sacks, he's going to get you a ton of fucking pressures. I like the move. The Jair Alexander move is a nothing move. Guys, I don't know. Kevin Byard kind of deal, something like that. Flexibility move. You know, but this Jaylen Phillips move, if healthy, it could be a B+ move and could turn into an A- for you. Again, health. It's not ability. It's, you know, that's why I compare him to Nolan Smith. I mean, Nolan Smith now showing you that he's got talent. It's a health issue. I was talking about the Super Bowl bet. The Super Bowl bet. I heard you guys, and I heard everybody sitting here going that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I wouldn't go anywhere near that right now. I think you're one of 3 or 4 teams in the NFC right now that could win this thing. You haven't separated yourself from shit yet. Who are you kidding? You're in a bye. You just beat Minnesota and New York. Relax. You're 2-2 over the last 4 ball games. Fucking town sounding like you're the best team in the NFL right now. Based off what metric? Last year? My core players, whatever the fuck that meant? Your numbers are still pathetic. So relax. This improves your chances big time. Okay? To say you're head and heels, but you're not. You're not. This is a week-to-week league. Okay? It's a week-to-week league. Okay? You have, at this point, I don't care about us being better. Get the number 1 seed. Correct, Martin. Hey, Martin, right. Take care of your own business. Don't worry about that shit. Rams are looking real good. Hey, and so is Seattle. Seattle looks outstanding. Hey, how about this? 2 teams I don't believe in are the Bucs and San Francisco. I don't believe in those 2. I think Detroit's in there. They got beat. Anybody in this, hey, you could get beat on Monday night. Based off the teams we've beaten while playing the worst football, we played as a team in years. I think we're the best in the NFC. I don't think, okay, I don't think that's an off comments thing. Silz, you was glazing the Bucs. Why? Because I said that they figured out ways to win a football game because they're fucking injured? Is glazing? Okay, then it's glazing. If we win the next 2 weeks, we're locked up home field. You haven't locked up home field if you win the next 2 weeks. But I get your drift. Silz, shopping for skulls caps as we speak. Admit it. No. Silz doesn't believe in the Bucs. He was acting like Baker was Montana. When you're carrying a fucking football team with multiple injuries, yes. They're 6-2 too. At least they've lost to good teams. You lost to the shittiest team that any contending team has lost to. I mean, the Rams too have a good resume. At least they're losing to good teams. You lost to the worst team in the NFC. I would like your official statement on the state of the Commander season's prediction. Looking not very good. And by the way, that was malpractice last night by Dan Campbell. Keeping that guy out there in a 31-7 game. I mean, you talk about coaches that don't give a shit about player safety. I saw Brian Dable a couple weeks ago not give a shit about the health of Jackson Dart by going after a neurologist, getting him out of the fucking tent to bring him out there and play because his job's on the line. And you're watching a guy play a guy, and you're getting your fucking heads kicked in. Where you think the defense is now, with adding Phillips, plus Eagles have a chance to be NFC East champs again. They have a great chance to be the NFC East champs again. I think the defense is improved a lot because now you have a legitimate edge setter. You don't have an edge-setting defensive end on your team right now. Now, let's take a look at the edge room, okay? Here's the edge room. And Brandon Graham, this now makes sense. Brandon Graham now makes sense. Brandon Graham, not with Jaylen Phillips, doesn't make sense. Okay? That doesn't make sense. Now, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, this makes sense. Big Silz, even though Vic made his minuscule comment regarding personnel, I believe he is in how he's here for Phillips. Who does he model his game after, in your opinion? Micah Parsons. His game is a lot like Parsons, Chubb, DeMarcus Ware would be somebody that I think I've heard him talk about. Like some people like that. He's a big kid. Again, health is his nemesis. Are we done making moves? Again, I think you're going to make some lateral moves. Maybe a couple guys off the practice squads of some other teams. I think you need some O-line help. I think you need some depth in your offensive line, in my opinion. Okay? All right? Yeah, that's right. I'm pissed off you got better so I have more content to talk about. Hey, guy, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Go watch some of those other dick shows. Are you fucking crazy? Where? He's nowhere near. I said pattern his game off of. You asked me, who does he pattern his game? You don't have to be. That's like saying that Jackson Dart patterns his play after Jalen Hurts. Does that mean he's Jalen Hurts? No. Listen. Jesus criminy. Stupidity at its finest. Now Seattle is a good team. Were you not watching? Phillips' game is like Parsons' game, I agree. Yeah, well, Manny Diaz coached both of them. That's the kind of skill set player he likes at edge. The kid Russo in Buffalo. Think about who Manny recruited. Russo, Jaylen Phillips, Abdul Carter, and Michael Parsons. They look all alike. They're just different in size and skill set. Silz, what do you think of the rotation looks like? To me, I'm putting Nolan Smith in a rotating role. Now they'll probably come out, and I would put Jaylen Phillips. I'd actually start him. Hey, by the way, I heard John talking about retention. I don't believe that he'll have any problem with the retention because they kind of run the same defensive front down in Miami. And I think because the retention that he had with Vic, and Vic likes him. Now, remember something. People are in here suggesting that Vic Fangio was in Howie's ear. I don't believe that. I think Howie knows this already. He probably went to Vic and said, what'd you make of Jaylen Phillips? Great player, liked him a lot. You know, we got along well, and he would fit if he came here. I think that's all the context was. And then Howie went, and remember, he's looking for a profile for Vic. He's looking for the player that can work in rotating roles. Remember what you're trying to look for here when you're getting a player like Jaylen. What is the one asset? What's the one asset that Vic wants to have on his defense? He doesn't want substitution on his defensive front seven. This is one of the greatest things you had a year ago was what? You didn't have to have substitutional guys coming out. They played in multiple fronts. Milton, Josh. All those guys didn't have to come off the field. Dean, Vaughn. All of them, except for Jordan Davis, didn't have to come off the field. Jaylen Phillips creates that dynamic for you. He doesn't have to come off the field. He can play on third down. He can play in nickel. He can play in a bear front. He can play in a forefront. He can do all those things for you. He can drop in coverage for you. He can cover a tight end. All the type of players that he's looking for and the hybrid type guy. Yes. I mean, really, right now, the only player that would come off is potentially still Jordan Davis. Now, if you want to go pass rush, you could have this front. Carter, Campbell, Phillips, Hunt, and Smith. If you're 3rd and long, you could take Jordan Davis off the field on 3rd and 10. And your front 7, your edges could be Smith, Phillips, Carter, and you could put Phillips in there in the middle, or Hunt. It gives you more pass rushers, which means more hits on the quarterback. Okay? That's what it does. Why? He's played them. You're looking for more versatility, especially on nickel and dime. And he gives you that. Yes, he is good against the run. He is. Okay? Hunt will benefit from having a guy. He will benefit mightily from having a guy like Jaylen Phillips playing. I'll tell you this, who else benefits is Jalen Carter. He benefits massively having a guy that can play. And a guy, you could put that guy in a wide 9 and that offensive tackle, or you'd have to come back and change strength and put a tight end over on him because he's in that wide 9. He's got great get-off, dude. The guy's got great speed. He's a difference-making player when healthy. Remember, always when you're talking about Jaylen Phillips, I want you guys to do me a favor, okay? Always end your comment with when healthy. Okay? When healthy. Cataldi best in real Eskin. Fool, he says only for effect. Eskin only says to get people riled up. He got 500K views. That's all he cares about. Well, again, we care about context and conversation here. Could you possibly bring the kid Phillips on the show one day? Or do you guys not try to get active players on during the season? The Eagles don't want to put any active guys on our program. I could get 5 or 6 of them. I know most all their agents. It's Bob Lang that stops that. So we apologize for you for that. They just don't want to work with me because you know why? It's the only show that tells the truth, and you guys have a free voice. If you guys don't like what I say, you guys tell me to go shut the fuck up all the time. You can't do that on IP or 97.5. Are you crazy? They would bar you forever. I never do that. Vic Skull wants to get the same look every time to opposing quarterbacks. Cameron, also remember, if you keep the same personnel on the field, what does that, Cameron, if you could keep the same look and the same personnel on the field, what does that stop an offense from doing? Can you tell me, guys? It stops them from going up tempo on you to keep your personnel on the sidelines. Why do some teams try to speed the tempo up? Because you guys had all these new players and you guys were trying to get substitutions in? Unlike a year ago, one of the biggest differences on this defense and why the numbers are so low is because you're rotating players now. A year ago, you didn't rotate players. Last year, you could put the same 11 out there, dime, nickel, too high, all of that. Take it on 12 personnel. You could do all of that and keep the same dudes on the field. This year, that's been a struggle a little bit. Phillips gives you that autonomy to be able to do that. Do you think they sit Phillips? He hasn't had a bye. Hey, man, you want to rest? I told him this over the weekend. You want to fucking rest? You can rest in your coffin. This is pro football. You want to rest? You can rest when you're dead. Ain't no fucking resting. Ain't no resting. This is pro football. You're playing for a contract. You want to powder your nose? You know what Drew Rosenhaus is telling him? I know Drew Rosenhaus. Hey, if you go there and kick ass, you're going to sign a $25 million a year contract. You're going to sign a big deal if you go there and kick ass. I guarantee you, nowhere in that conversation with Robert Bailey and with Drew Rosenhaus and his brother, anywhere there was anything in the context of, hey, why don't you take the fucking week off? I mean, plus you get a chance to win a Super Bowl? Ecstatic. And he's being coached by a hurricane. You can't, do you know Drew Rosenhaus can pick the phone up, and he has. Hey, Clint, how you doing? How's my boy doing? He can pick the phone up. He's known Clint Hurt since Clint Hurt was a freshman at Miami. The connection is strong. Jaylen Phillips is 7th in hurries and 12th in total pressures in the NFL per PFF. The rest of the Eagles' DEs are about 60th. I love this move. I do too. It's a B+, B move with the potential to be an A- move. When healthy. Remember, context. When healthy. Do you know right now, I can pick the phone up and call Clint Hurt at any, and I do. I talked to Drew Rosenhaus over the weekend. This came down to the Dolphins and the percentage of the money. The Dolphins wanted the Eagles to pick up the remaining prorated money out. Howie said, fuck that. This is a rent-a-player. He said, fuck that. They wanted, the owner doesn't want the player, nor does he want the money. Stephen Ross wants all these players gone. They're going to try to move 2 in the offseason. Okay? They're doing this for the next coach. Reportedly, John Gruden. And I think Bruce Allen may become the next general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Okay? I mean, that's what's being floated around there by Rosenhaus and them guys. Hey, Silz, you are still one of the best, whether I agree or disagree. That's okay. Hey, listen, I'm giving you, yes, pretty healthy. Got banged up. I think he hurt his ankle earlier in the season. By all accounts, he's had a pretty productive year this year. He really has. He's had a productive year. Look, do you understand what Drew Rosenhaus was telling him of why he didn't lay down? This conversation, when Zadarius Smith retired, it started with Vic and Clint. Clint knows Jaylen Phillips, and Vic knows Jaylen Phillips. This conversation has been going on. It was a simmer. Then it got a little hotter. Then it became closer to the trading deadline. Then it became more evident they needed some help out there. Jahir and Phillips are healthy. We are definitely. Jahir Alexander is a nothing burger. Garrett would have guaranteed a Super Bowl. The only guarantee you get from Miles is an extra 5 to 6 sacks, 3 to 4 first rounders for an extra 5 to 6 sacks a year. Not worth it. You're missing the point. Okay? You're missing the point on getting a guy like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's influence was he's got one of the top 3. Why I'm not affiliated in any way with the Philadelphia Eagles. Just because we're alumni? Clint Hurt and I are alumni guys? I recruited Clint Hurt. I helped recruit Jaylen Phillips for Manny Diaz. Do you know how many high schools I've called in the last 25 years for the University of Miami recruiting kids? Hundreds. Guys you would not even believe, who I called kids' homes to come to the University of Miami for our coaching staff. Why do you think I'm friends with Lamar Jackson? By the way, I had to apologize. Xander, you're going to shit a brick. I had to apologize to Mendoza. I never believed this in my entire life. You want to hear this, how ridiculous this is? So the kid Mendoza from Indiana University, Fernando Mendoza, he went to Columbus High School in South Florida. He's following me on X. He goes like this, Silz, how you doing? I said, I'm going to vote for you for the Heisman. He goes, yeah, Mario Cristobal passed on me and went with Carson Beck. Now he's at Indiana. He's undefeated. And he's a South Florida fucking guy. And I helped recruit that kid to go to Miami. Dave Dunn, the head coach at Columbus, went to my high school, Stanford Catholic. I can't believe that kid got out of he went to Miami, Columbus High. Holy shit. I called that kid's parents numerous times. And now he's quarterbacking in Indiana. Great. So, hundreds of kids I've recruited. Phillips was one of them. I like the kid at Miami. I always have. You know, we all do. All the alumni, dude, we're thick as thieves, all of us. We're very tight community. And we look out for one another. Okay? So, yes. This is completely a B+ move when healthy. If he's healthy by the end of the year, he's going to be a big impact on your football team. So let me take a look now at your defense right now. And let me see if they have updated. Let me see if Clint sent me the depth chart. I didn't even look yet. Yeah, he's starting. They got Jaylen. Here's your front. Mauro Jomo, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jaylen Phillips, and Jalix Hunt. That's a great-looking front with Bond and Dean. Okay? Campbell, in my opinion, is probably going to back up Jaylen Phillips. They'll probably play him out there behind Jaylen. And those two guys will rotate this coming game against Green Bay. That's what I would think, is that those two guys will rotate. And you'll have Hunt, and I don't know, is Nolan Smith coming off? Is he coming off the injured list this week? Because if he is coming off the injured list, if he's coming off the injured list, I really don't see him on this list right here. Mauro Jomo, Jordan Davis. They got Jalix Hunt. I don't know if Nolan Smith is going to be, if he's ready. Thursday, probably make those guys rotation pieces. I would think rotation pieces. You definitely got better. And you got better in doing the most important thing that Vic wants. Two things. Not coming off the field. Okay? And setting the edge. That's correct. When healthy. Dude, watch this, though. Carmine, Nolan Smith, when healthy. No, Jacoby Dean, when healthy. It's part of the narrative of a player. Dallas Goedert, when healthy. Unfortunately, Jaire Alexander, when healthy, I don't know. Okay? It's not a rip. It's who they are. Sil's never healthy yet. We still support him. I got it. I'm not telling you not to. Okay? I don't know. For the first time, he's not a factor in any conversation. I know he went to Cal. I know. He's a South Florida kid. He went to Columbus High School. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know he went to Cal. And when he transferred, Miami chose Carson Beck. Sills, does this mean more dime packages to be in play? I'll tell you what this also means. When healthy, you're going to get off the field more. I think your third down defense just got better. The most critical problem with your defense right now, you can't get off the field. You're 27th in defense on getting off the field. I think that improves here. I think within the next 5 weeks, keep an eye on that number, is that your third down defense is not very good. That has a lot to do with the shitty offensive play in the first 6 weeks. The shitty offensive play with all them fucked up 3 and outs has killed your defense. If the offense gets the ball moving, running the ball, and with the addition of Phillips, I think both the third down offense and the third down defense, guys, you want to win a Super Bowl? If you change those two dynamics within the next 4 weeks, keep an eye here. I don't even really know what your ranking is there right now. So let me take a look at that. So let's take a look at your third down defense, okay? And your third down offense. Okay, so here's your third down defense right now is 28th. It's terrible. Your third down offense. I got this on a spreadsheet. Your third down offense is 27th. You're terrible. You get the ball running and you improve that 10 spots. Same on your defense, because that'll improve. You go to the NFC Championship game. You'll go to the NFC Championship game. If you improve both of those coming out of the bye. Too many 3 and outs? You can't get off the field. Well, shit, I don't care what your numbers are. Red zone, all that other bullshit. It's getting off and on the field. A year ago, your defense was insane on putting your offense in great field position and getting off the field. That's not been an issue. I mean, that's been a massive issue this year. Okay? It's been a massive issue. Watched the Rams last night. Kellen Moore is loved in New Orleans. Well, dude, he took over a shit show. The road goes through Philly. On November 3rd, it does. Kraft, a huge loss. By the way, I want to address this. Phenomenal. Tucker Kraft got hurt? Oh my God, that's great. Sills, are you wishing for a player to be hurt? No. Sills, are you glad he's hurt? Absolutely not. Sorry. That's what football is. It's the war of attrition. If you lose Landon Dickerson and you're getting ready to play the Cowboys, you think the Cowboys are going, shit, I wish I could play against Landon Dickerson. What are you, crazy? Put things in context. Two things can be true. You're sad the player got hurt, but I'm glad he's not on the field Monday. Use common sense. Everybody knows nobody's rooting for anybody to get injured in here. It sucks for the kid. End of the day, great for the Eagles. How is it not? You can't say that? I'm sorry here. I don't, and no one is ever in my, nobody's sitting there wishing, hey, I wish Tucker Carlson, I wish the guy Tucker Kraft could play on Monday against the Eagles. How stupid are you? Who would say that? Except somebody that's phony. Do me a favor. Don't act phony on our show. You know you love the fact that Tucker Kraft can't play Monday. Nobody's wishing for the guy to be injured. Nobody's glad he's hurt. Still, I'm glad he's not there Monday for the Eagles to have to cover. Why do you think we talk about the war of fucking attrition? Nobody's wishing people to get hurt. I'm surely not. Are you trying to tell me you think that the Green Bay Packers, if Jalen Carter got hurt, they wouldn't be jumping for joy? Of course they'd be jumping for joy. Not that the player got hurt, but that they don't have to face him. Thoughts on Daniel getting hurt? Is he RG320? That was egregious. Thank God it's not career-threatening. It's a dislocation of the elbow. It's his left arm. He throws with his right. Silz, do we have any idea who's good in the league right now? Yesterday just blew my mind. Well, we're going to get to all that. I wanted to talk about the deals first. I feel awful for JD5, but I'm glad we don't play him December. That's right. Hey, that's right. I'm glad you don't have to face him. You get Marcus Mariota. How would you not be glad for that? Dude, nobody's rooting for anybody to have catastrophic injuries. Okay? I mean, nobody. I hate when people are so not genuine. Boy, I'm really sad that he got hurt. No, you're not. I mean, in theory, you're sad he got hurt, but you're glad you don't have to play him. I am. I would be. You mean I don't have to play one of the best players in the league? Great. That never made sense to me. Okay? That's why your show is the best. At least you keep it 100%. That's why you're successful and you're blessed. You are here in our market. How you doing? Thank you so much. Yeah, listen. Not one person in here with a kind soul is praying or wanted to see Jaden Daniels injured. Nobody. However, let's be candid here. You think the Dodgers enjoyed playing against the Phillies without Zach Wheeler? Or do you think they were doing this? Damn, I wish Zach Wheeler, I wish he could have played in the divisional round against us so we could have had a fair competition. What are you, psycho? Who in their right mind would say that? Somebody that's not a genuine person. And I can't stand people who aren't genuine. Fitzpatrick is on the trade block. Eagles, maybe? Michael Fitzpatrick? He's a really good ball player. I know that kid, too. He's a Bama kid. I think they're done with moves like that. I do. I think they're done with names. Guys, I think they're done with them names. By the way, Keely Ringo's starting Monday. Jair Alexander starting. Why would you start him? I mean, why would you start the guy? Ringo's a better option. He's been here young. He's been here longer. I think he's a better player right now than Alexander. He had 118 quarterback rating against him this year. Come on, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Okay? If they let him go for a third, how he might bite on it. But no, that third is the Jets' third. The Jets' third's going to be at the top of the third round. Yeah, I don't know about that. So basically almost a second-round pick? Yeah, I don't know. For a guy that's a little long in the tooth? Second-round pick? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. How he's acquiring players like here. Let me go to that comment. How he fucked up so bad this offseason, it's mind-numbing. Fucked up terribly. Bad moves everywhere. However, I'm not killing him for that because he went like this. Yeah, that guy's not working. Yeah, that guy's not working. Yeah, that guy's not working. Even the move I made with the Raiders is not working. Let's go. Let's go. Let's pick this shit up. Let's go. He immediately pivoted and addressed those miscalculations. On player talent, hey, by the way, they missed the evaluation of Jalen Hunt. They missed the evaluation of the availability of Nolan Smith. They got caught in between another dynamic. As soon as they put Nakobe Dean on the field, they knew immediately they were going to have to stunt the growth of Jihad Campbell because Dean's the better ball player. So that is an unfortunate situation. And Campbell has it's not anything to do with Campbell. Campbell's not been a liability. Campbell's just not better. Nakobe Dean makes your defense better. Okay? He makes your run defense better. He makes the guys at the defensive tackle position better. So it's nothing on Campbell. Campbell's not failing. Okay? But you got to have a come to Jesus conversation. Who's the better ball player? Hey, look, when I'm taking him off of his natural position off ball and moving him to edge, I'm trying to get him on the field. And he can't get on the field at the inside off linebacker position because the other guy's better. It's not a rip. Dean's just a better ball player at this particular time in their careers. He's just better. Okay? He's just a better ball player. It's not a rip in any way whatsoever. Okay? It's a good problem to have, but not really. Because then what you got to do is you got to go like this to Campbell. He's going to see less snaps. Now you add Phillips to it. Okay? Is your rotation going to be Nolan Smith, Jaylen Phillips, Jalen Hunt, Uche, Campbell, Uche, Hunt, and Phillips? Nolan Smith's got to get back in this. Who's the least experienced guy at the edge? Campbell. Campbell gets less snaps. This hurts his development. Now, if you're Vic, are you rotating? Now, look, here's where he's not going to play a lot. If you put Dean back out there, plus you put Phillips out there, you're going to be better on first and second down, which means your third down's going to improve, which means you're going to start improving that third down defense massively in the next 12 quarters. That's going to improve, barring health. I locked up trash. and tomato can. I looked up trash and tomato can in a dictionary, and there was Jair Alexander's picture staring back at me. Look, I think he gives you flexibility, and I think he gives you latitude to be able to put. The key is Cooper DeJean in this. Yeah, also, this might limit BG's role. I mean, if I'm going to stunt the growth of somebody, it's Brandon Graham's role, not Jihad Campbell's role. I don't need Brandon Graham. I need to keep continuing the development of Jihad Campbell. As a matter of fact, Brandon Graham coming back now and you making this move and getting Nolan Smith back, Brandon Graham's move to come back out of retirement, I don't know. I think it gets in the way here. Because if you play him, that means now Campbell gets less snaps. With the improvement of the front seven, do you think that helps Ringo? Well, let me ask you this. Do you think when you had James Bradbury and Darius Slay in 22, and you had 70 sacks and massive volume of quarterback pressures, do you think that helped your secondary, which landed at number 2 in the NFL in 2022? Of course it helps. Yes. It's a good question, not ripping you, but yes. Big time. Okay? Exactly, Silz. I bet when Campbell is in his 4th season, yes, he'll be better. Well, when he's in his 4th season, Bond won't be on the team. And potentially, if you're able to somehow manipulate Nakobe Dean to keep him and stay in Philly, your 2 interior linebackers and your 2 defensive tackles are going to be Davis, Carter, Campbell, and Bond, all draft picks. 3 first-rounders and a 3rd rounder. People you developed inside your organization. That's the ultimate dream. That would be the ultimate dream 3 years from now, is that Campbell and Dean are your 2 inside backers, and your 2 interior defensive tackles are Davis and Carter. The heart of your defense with Cooper DeJean in the middle of the field is set. BG is the best run-stopping edge we have. No, he's not. He's not better than Phillips. I'm not sure he ever was. Alexander played in zone defenses in Green Bay. Ravens don't believe in zone, which is true. And that's why Slay's getting his ass kicked in Pittsburgh as well. Okay? It's because Slay, it's one of the reasons why Detroit dealt him. Slay's not a press corner. I try telling you that all the time. You guys keep telling me lockdown corners. Lockdown corners are press. You don't play press. Does Jane Daniels play more than 5 years? Again, thank God it wasn't his passing arm. Okay? So you think a 37-year-old fucking edge rusher is better than a 23-year-old kid who's having a good year? You're fucking high, guy. Guy was sitting eating devil dogs and eating pizza at Wawa, and he's better? Well, maybe on your team, because your edge rusher's blue. Yes. I talking out of my ass on what exactly? Hook me up on what I'm talking about out of my ass. I'm curious to see what you think I'm talking out of my ass on. Help me out on what are you talking about? Odd man out. Correct. There's only 65 snaps in a ball game. I heard it's awful. They keep trying, though, I heard, Nick. Says you should boot some of these. No. Business-wise, yes. Do you want to pay $30 million? You want to pay for an older guy? You want to pick that money up? Chubb is not that much better. How about this? On a scale of 1 to 10, Chubb's a 10. He's not really, but a 10. Phillips is at 8.5. With Phillips potentially being as good as Chubb. And he's cheaper. He's in a fifth-year option. I don't know. I said Alexander and Slay similar. One coverage. I don't know, man. He may play zone, not bad. Obviously, Jacorian Bennett blows or something because, I mean, they must not think anything of that guy. Phillips has better numbers than Chubb. The move is right. Get this. See how the move is? Let me show you business-wise, too. Fifth-year option. They own the player now. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, right? Okay, he walks. You gave up a 3. You get a third-rounder as a comp pick. It's kind of a wash. You got to pay a couple $1 million. It's like, it's like renting a bicycle at the beach. Gets you around. It's important. It's cheap. It's productive. It's a no-brainer. And it makes you better. Shit, I'm in. Makes you better. Bennett was grabbed 138th last year. He's not good, yet you traded for him. It's like poor man's meatballs. Woo, not me. Hey, unless my wife or my aunt make them, not happening. I don't eat meatballs anywhere. I don't go to restaurants and eat meatballs. That's not. Yeah, somebody gave me meatballs one time, and I was like this. Yeah, no. Unless my wife or my grandma or my aunt make them. I ain't eating anybody's meatballs, man. That ain't happening. I like the moves overall. They aren't home runs, but I like it. I wondered if Alexander might be better. And he might be. Get this. I'm not killing the move, but I don't care about the move. Except for it's a depth piece. He might be okay. I don't know. I heard that the Ravens are raving about him. He was healthy scratches. Like, he was healthy inactives this year. I mean, okay. I mean, it's not like the secondary of the Ravens have been, like, knocking people out or anything. Bro, you people in here talking about Jair Alexander like he's some sort of fucking player. He hasn't been one in 5 years. Jaylen is a great pickup. I agree. Now we need a guy like a young Big Silz next to him, and you got him. I'm talking to you, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter will benefit big time from this guy being there. Absolutely true. He will benefit without a doubt. That's how I feel. Silz never know. Yeah, no. Hey, he may benefit playing in that zone. I think the zone is great for old players. I do. He may. I'll tell you what, his experience at least will get him on the field. He's missed 40 ball games in 5 years. 40. I don't know. I mean, don't try to sit here and paint that pig to me and make it sound like the guy's a great ball player. He was. Injuries have caught him. Injuries take a toll on players. Older, younger. You saw it with Carson Wentz. It happens. His career got cut short because of injuries. Player was a really good football player. At one time, he could have been considered one of the best corners in the league. Here today, gone tomorrow, the NFL, though. That's how that shit works. Okay? I mean, it's no shade. It's part of the game. Stepping facts. Last time Wawa, hey, I heard Wawa's tried to make the pizza, and I heard it's dog shit. I would rotate Brandon Graham inside and outside to stop the run and get off the field. Brandon Graham is a guy almost right now getting in the way. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll take that back. If somebody gets hurt and Smith can't play, you got Brandon Graham there? Because remember, I don't believe Nolan Smith is going to finish the year. And I don't think the Eagles do. So Brandon Graham may be important in December and in January. Okay? Remember we said that. He may be more important in the later months of the year. He's there for leadership. Hey, guy, that's great and all. And fucking rah-rah speeches and Newt Rockney and all that. And win one for the Gipper. I need a ball player. And I'm not saying that he's not going to help a little. I mean, okay. I mean, I need a ball player. Yeah. See, I think this is more the reality of it. I do. I think that's more it right there. I do. Terrible. I mean, you got to protect your quarterbacks. Head coach's responsibility is to protect the quarterbacks. And keeping them in a game 31-7 when you're going fucking nowhere is malpractice. I get you know, you got to win. Your owner's hanging around. He's on the sidelines. By the way, I tell that owner, Josh Harris, get the fuck off the sidelines. What's this I'm hearing? The Cowboys made a move, but Jerry won't say who it is for. What a joke. Well, we'll find out by tomorrow. They may have traded for Chubb because the Dolphins right now they got a yard sale going on. Okay, I wouldn't be, by the way, I wouldn't be shocked if they got that running back. Or they may have traded for Jaylen Waddle. Not that they need him. The way I look at Phillips, I think the writing's on the wall for Nolan Smith. No, I don't. Because you got to remember, right now, he's a rent-a player. He's a rent-a player, guys. Until proven otherwise, he's out of here at the end of the year. Drew Rosenhaus is not going to... Here, if he plays well and the Eagles want to bring him back and it's well, there's going to be a fixed number. If this guy plays great, Drew Rosenhaus is going to go like this. Philly, here's the number. You don't want it? No problem. There's always a need for an edge rusher in the NFL. If he plays up to his ability, he's a $25 million. Get this. You know the guys that you were talking about in the offseason, which were preposterous, that Nolan Smith was a $25 million a year guy? He is not. This kid's a $25 million a year guy. When healthy. Okay? When healthy. Okay? Remember, put that always in the conversation. Once again, I've known the kid for years. I like the kid. The kid's really a good ball player. He's got a great engine. He's going to fall in love with Philly. I told him that. I said they're really intense fans. You'll dig that. He's an intense guy. You have to remember that as great as Campbell has been, he's never played a 20-game season. He will fade. That's why Dean, Phillips, and BG will help after week 12. To that point, yes. Okay, I think the most he's ever played is 13 games, maybe 14. Yes. He's got an attitude about him. He's an attitude guy. Okay, he's a shit-talking guy. Yes. As a matter of fact, he's got a little Jared Verse in him. When healthy. Okay? Always end it with that. The kid can play. Okay? The kid can play. Just know that. I just got an email from Drew Rosenhaus or a DM. Hang on. Okay, he's taking his physical. What's today? Monday? They'll have Players' Day off. He'll probably speak Wednesday. Drew might be with him. Drew's with him now. Clint picked him up at the airport. Dude, Drew Rosenhaus and I go back 40 years. He made his bones on the University of Miami when nobody would allow him on campus. Jimmy Johnson wouldn't allow him on campus because he was always trying to come after us. Not a person on the planet that played at that program was not offered a contract to fucking be with Drew. I went with Bob Wolf instead. How dumb can you get? He's based in Miami. Every single client, Robert Bailey played with me at Miami. I recruited Clint Hurt. I recruited Jaylen Phillips. You're in here because you're one of those guys that go around that other show and you hang out with Bill Cunnilingus. You come in here, make sure you know what you're talking about, kid. I can't show the DM because I divulge my sources and my inner talkings with Drew Rosenhaus when I'm talking about another player. By the way, Drew's in the conversation with another guy right now that potentially could be a Philadelphia Eagle. And he doesn't want it out there yet. Okay. He's on the Browns. I'll leave it there. He's on the Browns. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will join me in a couple minutes. Is Howie done or is there another move? Okay? I don't know. Again, remember, when you're dealing with the Dolphins and you're dealing with the Browns or you're dealing with any of these other people, I got another insight for you that I'm allowed to tell you. You know whose name is being brought up to be the new general manager of the Miami Hurricanes? Excuse me, of the Miami Dolphins? Guess who's going to get an interview next week? Alonzo Highsmith. Highsmith DM'd me and said, I have an interview with Stephen Ross. Nobody knows that. So Alonzo Highsmith is getting an interview to become the next general manager of the Dolphins. He's a senior executive right now in New England with Elliott Wolf. Okay? There is a lot of moving pieces right now. Okay? The Eagles and the Browns are talking about a deal, and it's not Myles Garrett. Just so you know. Not at liberty to say. Big Silz, been a listener for years now. I was wondering if you're related somehow to the Johnsons from East Haven. I don't know. Got to tell me more of the first name. Highsmith is a perfect fit. Yes, he is. I believe that too. And the president of I was reached out by the president of the Miami Dolphins. I know him very well. And he worked with a guy called Mike D, who at one time was the president of the Miami Dolphins. And the guy that's in the building right now is Tom Garfinkel. And Tom Garfinkel texts me and says, do you have Highsmith's contact info? And I said, yeah, I do. Tom goes like this. He goes, I know you do a show up in Philly. Going to hear some good news. I go, I'm hearing. And so Tom Garfinkel is the president of the Miami Dolphins. And Tom Garfinkel came over from the San Diego Padres. And then Mike D went to the Padres to become the president of the Padres. And Tom Garfinkel is a heck of a guy. Too bad he works for Stephen Ross. Tom Garfinkel is one of the most respected guys in South Florida. And I recommended Alonzo Highsmith. And I think a lot of other people have. I know Jimmy Johnson's recommended him as well. Okay? So, yeah. So Tom Garfinkel has reached out to Alonzo, and they're going to interview him to potentially be the next general manager of the Miami Dolphins. A lot of moving pieces going around me right now. Okay, everything's going off right here. Silz, you can't say, but is it a good player at least? I think it's a depth piece that could be, again, remember, you're dealing with the Browns. You're dealing with the Browns. And when you're dealing with the Dolphins, do you understand the only reason that you got Jaylen Phillips is because Chris Greer got fired? It's the only reason. Chris Greer did not want to move any of the players. Because here, how can you tell the head coach, Mike McDaniels, how can you tell the guy to go out and win ball games when you got a yard sale? You're defeating the purpose. Brian Flores and Vic Fangio were right in the end. They were fucking right. Flores was told to lose games, and Vic said the culture sucked. They were right. And it's that way because the owner sets the pollution, and it's polluted the entire environment. Absolutely. The Dolphins are Drew Rosenhaus pushes that organization around. I mean, he bullies them. Big Silz, Jerry Jones has made a trade. Anything you hear about? Let me text Michael Irvin. Hang on. Mike, Cowboys make a move. Actually, I'll ask Stephen Ross or Stephen Jones. Oh, I guess we haven't had Stephen Jones on. You have to ask position first. Stephen, I'm hearing you making a move. Position? Don't ask for names. Can't ask for names. Why? Same people I told you about come on the program. Stephen Jones has been on. The CFO of the Cowboys has been on. Lonzo Highsmith and I played football together. We've been friends for 40 years. We've had GMs and numerous people on this program. Anybody I bring up to you has been on this program. If Phillips plays great, give him a 4-year contract, $25 million each year, and get Nolan Smith play out his contract. Let's see how he plays. Let's see if we maybe Angelo forgot here, because I like Angelo's take on the second half of the season. She goes, you ain't saying shit about them bum-ass Hurricanes. Get this. Firing Mario Cristobal is ridiculous. You're delusional. Delusional. Alabama got their butts kicked by FSU. The shit that Nick Saban did, that shit's not happening. Not in today's college landscape. Games are going to happen. They fucked up on the quarterback. They surely did. But having dynasties like that because of the transfer portal, it's not going to happen. Okay? It is not. Hopefully we can catch up with our friend Angelo Cataldi. That will continue here. I'm guessing it's Collins from the Browns. After looking at who drew reps, there are linebackers and the other is an edge. I appreciate you being honest. Thank you. Well, you mean genuine, but okay. Yes. Yes. Ward is going to be if you're looking for the corner, Ward is going to command a second-round pick. They're not doing that. I'm talking the Eagles. Silz, IMO Carter and Jair are reacted to the Giants game where Ringo and Adoree both had to play with Q out. Ringo's going to start on Monday. It's not going to be Alexander. If you think Alexander is going to start on Monday, you're crazy. I wouldn't start the guy. He's been poor this year. And actually, Ringo's gotten a tad better because the pressure up front and the front's playing a little better. Silz, I would love to have, that kid can play. He can play. So, again, folks, you got to remember something here. I've known Jaylen Phillips since he was in high school. I helped recruit the kid for the University of Miami. The defensive line coach at Miami, or the defensive line coach with the Eagles, is the Miami Hurricane. Clint Hurt, I recruited him for the program. This is a good move. I want to put this in quotes before we get Angelo on. When healthy, okay, this is a B-plus move. The Jair Alexander move, I mean, dude, the guy's missed 40 football games in the last 5 years. Before you guys think you're trading for Brian Dawkins, this guy is like, he can't even get on the field with the Ravens. This is kind of a piece that gives you flexibility. Cooper DeJean is the key in this thing. Safety, corner, slot. He's the key. That's the key. He wants to move that kid around. Obviously, Jacorian Bennett, and I'm going to give Howie Roseman a lot of credit here. He blew out loud with his moves this Temu offseason. However, he's pivoted. I wonder if Angelo, I'm gonna bring Angelo up here, but I got to tell you something about Jeffrey Lurie. This dude could have fired this guy after that whole Chip Kelly mess, but he kept him in the broom closet. He brought him back. I have to think he's a better guy after that Jalen Reagor deal. Because you know what he does? He doesn't put it in the hands of coaches anymore like Nick Sirianni. He doesn't do that. All right. The man who dubbed Kevin Petullo Bobo. Boy, that thing's gone around big time. It has. I can't wait to hear what the man, and it's Howie season. I don't know what that means. So let's hear what Angelo has to say. Our friend Angelo Cataldi, the legendary man from WIP. Also, don't forget AngeloCataldi.com. How you doing, Angie?
I'm doing good, Dan, but I'm a little confused. Howie Roseman wasn't going to go all in this year, and then he watched his team go 6-2 before the bye, and he realized he better try to make some moves. Why didn't he just do this in the off season? You said last time I was on, he had a bad off season last year. He made himself have a bad off season by shortchanging what he already had on his roster. If you're going to get rid of all those guys they did, like Sweat and Williams and those people, bring in other people that can play those positions instead of waiting till the trade deadline and then suddenly fortifying the defense. How many of us said before the season the defense was not deep enough and not talented enough because you let 5 of your starters leave? Why is he doing this now? Why didn't he do it in the offseason? Even though they're 6-2, they're in good shape right now. But he's kind of acknowledging at least that the team doesn't have enough talent on the defensive side of the ball.
Do you agree then? So what we're doing here is, and of course, Angelo, you put it in focus here. So we're glazing a guy for basically starting the house on fire and then putting it out.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. And it's like, why? What? You had the best roster in the league, and then you let 5 of your starters on one of your units leave, and you really didn't do much to fix that. And then you get to the trade deadline and go, wow, we're going to have a problem here. Well, I better bring in some more talent. And I mean, they're all kind of, they're all kind of like rolling the dice. I don't know if any of these guys will help. I guess the guy they just got from the Dolphins will help some, right? He's got
if healthy. Always put that on the end. If healthy,
he will help. All right, good. And he's worked with Fangio, so that's, I guess, an advantage. The other guys are really, you don't know. Maybe they'll help. I can't imagine they're going to help a lot. But you're saying I didn't do enough in the off season. Why didn't you? It makes no sense. You had the best roster.
With all the money, think about what you're saying there then. You're right. All the money that they've spent on bringing, what's his name? Jadari Smith, the defensive end that retired, all the edges that you brought in, now signing this guy. Why didn't you just sign Josh Sweat?
Exactly. And you did it because you didn't want to be accused of having too much sentiment. Because in 2017, after they won, they brought everybody back because they're so sentimental. It sounds like you're pretty sentimental now if you're bringing Brandon Graham back from the scrap heap, from the retirement home, because, you don't have enough there either. Is that sentiment? And he talked himself into a bad game plan, and now he's trying to work his way out of it. And I'll give him this. He's busy. That guy does more than all the other GMs put together in the NFL. I swear to God, nobody makes as many moves as how he does. And I love that. I love that he treats this like the baseball trade deadline. And I like that in him. I just don't understand why he did it this way this time.
Do you think Jeffrey Lurie being on the field last week and being out there, I mean, how much pressure do you think the owner puts on him when it comes to going like this. Hey, listen, man, we're a less talented football team now. And you know him, I mean, I think he's involved with all these moves. I'm not saying he makes the right moves, Angelo. We know that the organization, and I'm not calling him any kind of Al Davis here or anything. However, what you just said, surely even a novice guy would know these moves you made, dude, they're not panning out. Even the evaluation, would that come from Jeffrey for him to be able to go out and make a move like this? I mean, they did give up a 3 for this, or this is just how.
I don't think it comes from Jeffrey.
Okay.
A couple of reasons. One is Jeffrey Lurie. There's no way all the histrionics that you see Sirianni doing on the sideline. There's no way on earth that Jeff Lurie finds that charming, right? Jeff Lurie doesn't believe in that. Jeff Lurie believes that a coach should be stoic. I know this, right? And he's got his guy yelling and screaming and acting like a lunatic all the time. I would think he might go to Howie and go, Howie, how do we end up with Petulo? Because that is going to bite them in the ass in the second half of the season. Let me give you a bye-week prediction. The Eagles are going to struggle to play 500 ball in the second half of the season because they're going to get burned by Petulo. The schedule's about to get harder again. They clearly do not have a lot of depth at several positions that are going to get them burned. And they got play calling that basically they have to rely on Hurts to do now because the guy they got doing it doesn't know what he's doing. So enjoy 6-2 because they're still only going to end up with 10 wins. All right. They're going to end up, as I predicted, 10-7. I'm far more convinced of that now than I was before the first game.
And there he is, Angelo. So you're saying now.
Nostradamus has returned.
Hey, wait a minute now. You're saying now, by the way, last week, now here we are here, man. You're saying they're going 10-7. Okay. So you think the fan base and some people in the fan base, these lunatic Eagle fans, think because they beat the Minnesota Vikings and they beat the New York Giants, this is pyrite, fool's gold, and now all of a sudden everything is turned around and they're better.
You nailed it. They were 4-0, barely. They squeezed by. And then they lost 2 games in the same week. One of them was the Giants. My goodness. All right.
Terrible.
And then you thought everything's back to normal now because you beat 2 weak teams. And you go to the bye. And everybody's going 6-2, 6-2. It could just as easily be 4-4. It really could just as easily be 4-4 or lower than that.
They're 2-2 over the last 4 games.
Now, what your GM is saying in the bye week, what he is saying right now is, I acknowledge we do not have enough talent. I acknowledge this. I'm going to make more moves than any other GM in the NFL to try to fix what I didn't do right in the offseason. Well, then he's seeing what we're seeing, Dan. He knows they may be 6-2 on the record, but they're not 6-2, and that they're going to get burned on the back end. And maybe you can fix a little bit of it with these moves, not a lot. You can't fix Kevin Petulo. That's unfixable. And Sirianni ain't going to help you with that. So that's where the exposure's coming in the second half of the season. I would bet on it. I mean, I would bet on this. This one I got. I know the 5 wins last year was not great. But this one, my reclamation is upon us. I will be my retribution. I will come back and prove my wisdom.
Okay, so in your opinion,
right,
instead of Kevin Petulo moving on to being a guy like a Shane Steichen, he's going to be a guy that's going to be more Brian Johnson, in your opinion.
Without a doubt. I'm positive of it. The only difference is Jalen Hurts is 2 years further into his career and may be able to cover up some of that. But, they ain't going to shut up A.J. Brown. He knows they're making some awful play calling. He sees that it's been the weakness of the team. And we'll see how this all plays out in the second half. But brace yourself. You have enjoyed the best part of this season. It is now officially over.
A.J. Brown, you mentioned him. Will A.J. Brown be on this football team at the start of 2026?
Wow. That's a great, it's funny. Who am my decision? Yeah. I don't believe you placate superstar players who are also basket cases. I don't think you do that. I just say, you're playing here or you're not playing. I don't play that game. I wouldn't play that game. But more and more, what I'm reading, what I'm hearing is they're running out of patience with him, which, good. They're running out of patience with the greatest receiver they ever had. They're running out of patience with a guy, Dan, that they have put in this position by not using properly. It is his complaints are valid. I keep saying this every time I'm with you. He is right. Throw him the frickin' ball. He will catch it in traffic. Third down, big play. Dial him up and tell Jaylen to get rid of the friggin' ball, even if it looks like he's covered, because he'll catch it. And you're going to let him go because you put him in a bad mood, and then you got tired of seeing that he's in a bad mood. To me, it's on you. I don't blame A.J. Brown. They're all prima donnas to me. You got to manage it. Manage the guy. He's great. He's better than Mike Quick. He's better than Harold Carmichael. He's the best receiver the Eagles have ever had.
Better than T.O.
Better than all of them. T.O. in his prime, his absolute prime, this guy's better. The only reason his numbers don't match with those is because the Eagles are not using him properly.
Do you agree then that just like with Andy Reid not being able to handle, because Tom Brady has said this, remember something, Angelo, and this is going to be kind of, direct on Aaron Hernandez. That was a head case that turned out to be the enormous head case of all time.
Yes.
But still, Belichick and Tom Brady had that guy sitting next to Tom Brady in the locker room, and they had to manage that. Andy Reid couldn't manage T.O. and McNabb. Do you think that same thing is being handled here? Because if Nick's got this handle on this culture in this building and in this room, how come, A.J. Brown is allowed to go out and make all these statements? Because it contradicts what the what the head coach is saying with this fabulous culture, with all the things that we have, with everything we're doing. And then he comes out and he goes, I'm not on the same page with these guys. These guys they don't listen to me. I don't even know if I want to be here. That's the kind of context I get in it.
All right, here's the first thing you need to know. Sirianni is not challenging anyone in the locker room, in the front office, anywhere. He is a professional ass kisser, all right? So he's telling A.J. Brown whatever A.J. Brown wants to hear. Sirianni's mistake is in bringing his Bobo in to call plays and creating the situation by frustrating Brown, who sees he's open, who knows he can get open, who knows he can impact that offense twice as much as he does, but they won't call his number enough. You watch some of these other games, Nakua, my God, before he got injured yesterday, they called every series he was out there making a big play. Jefferson, constantly in the middle of what's going on offensively. You will forget A.J. Brown is on the Eagles team for halves at a time. He'll go through a half and you won't even see the ball in his direction, or one play in the whole first half. No, use him. Do you understand? Dial him up 8, 9, 10 times every single game, and he will get 100 yards for you or more. He'll pick up a touchdown or two for you, and he'll get you big first downs if you use him. But they keep talking themselves out of it. Why? Dan, it makes no sense. When they throw him the ball, he catches it. If he doesn't catch it, he makes sure the guy covering him doesn't catch it. He's a phenomenal player, and they don't know how to handle him. And that's the biggest thing. I'm in the A.J. Brown camp. I am team A.J.
Do you think they've stopped developing Jalen Hurts by the type of hires that they bring in? Look how inconsistent the hires have been. And you know what? He's getting more knowledge of the game. I think he's learning by failure of the coordinators that he brings in, because he's been around so many good people
Right.
that I think he understands. Like you say, he's taking more of a baton, and I think he does do this now. Angelo, I think that was his suggestion. We get him under center because they look better when he's under center. I think some of the cosmetic things that they've done, I wonder, and I think that that's from him going through all these changes that he's had, because it looks like to me the same stuff they did with Wentz. It's almost like they just stopped.
Yeah.
Is that a bad view of what I'm doing here?
You're exactly right. And Hurts has a new problem. Hurts understands more now than he did even 2 years ago when he had to carry Brian Johnson. He knows more now. Yeah, you could see he's making plays up in the moment. They're improvising. You could see it. Waving down to Brown. Go deep. I'll throw it to you.
Yeah.
You know, like they're playing in the street. But the problem that Hurts has now that he has not had in the time he has been with the Eagles, he no longer has an offensive line that he can rely on, right? He's still got some names up there. Lane Johnson's still terrific.
Yep.
Mailata, although he's not having his best year, is still a solid guy. When you're using Brett Toth, when Brett Toth is on the field, you are doomed. He stinks. Does anyone watch tape? Please, Dan, watch one series with Brett Toth and then say to yourself, he's like an accountant in real life, right? He's just doing this. He's dabbling on the side in the NFL. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's awful. Steen is not good. He's a way big step down from what they've had before. Dickerson, always hurt. Cam Jurgens is good, but he also is prone to injury. You don't have the depth. They didn't bring in anyone. They let Becton go, and they didn't. What did they do with that? They did nothing with that. Becton was a great run blocker. That is why Saquon Barkley was so much better last year than he's been most of this season, because he had holes to run through. When they finally figured out in game 8, then they went, wait a minute. Barkley's a good runner. He had 2,000 yards last year. Let's see if we can get him the ball, not between the tackles, like outside with his room.
Yeah.
Tula went, oh, what if we did that?
Zone runs.
I wonder if that would work. Boom! First play, 65 yards touchdown. This is not that complicated. But they've got a guy calling plays who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the wall. And that there's no way you survive a whole season with that.
I want to ask you, did you think that Donovan McNabb was a great player?
I thought he was a great talent, a good player. Not
good enough. Do you think Andy Reid failed him in the end on continuing to develop him?
Well, again, if you don't
because
mind,
I'm going to go with that with Hurts here.
Right.
Because I thought that Donovan McNabb was trending to being a Hall of Fame player.
He had the ability to be a Hall of Fame player.
Okay. What happened to him? Because did coaching get in the way? Did Donovan get in the way? Because, again, here's Jalen Hurts here, again, with all these C- coaches around him at times. Sometimes he's got an A guy. Sometimes he's got a C- guy.
Right.
I mean, what happened to McNabb? Because maybe that could tell us the history of what's going on here with Jalen.
All right. First, I would like to just a moment of silence for Andy's rough loss yesterday against the Bills. It was devastating. Even though at one point that smacked ass Tony Romo, they called a play that was effective, and he took 10 minutes to tell you how brilliant Andy Reid was.
Yeah.
They didn't even know if Andy Reid called a friggin' play, right? Oh, this is it. Oh, look at that. He got 9 yards. Wow, he's so amazing. Andy Reid, Dan. If Andy Reid did not stumble upon Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid right now would have 0 rings. Do you understand? Andy Reid, in the history of American sports, is the most overrated coach or manager ever. Ever. You understand? Ever. Like people went, oh my God, Andy Reid went to Kansas City and he suddenly figured out how to manage the clock. That's amazing. He did not know how to do it here. Well, he was relying on McNabb, and where McNabb had talent to be a great player, Hall of Famer, there was something missing. Heart, brain, something was missing. It wasn't there. I don't think it would have mattered that much. The only thing that could save Reed was a guy that was such a virtuoso at what he does, like Mahomes, that he could overcome Reed. And to this day, every commentator in every sport, in every opportunity, will tell you how brilliant Andy Reid was, because when they had the meeting the night before, Reid told 3 fat jokes. And they went, oh, this man's so charming. Oh, what a hilarious wit this man is. Oh, he's brilliant. I talked to him for 14 years, all right? Most of the time when I was interviewing him, Dan, I had the people around me remove sharp objects because I wanted to hurt myself, all right? The guy, please, if there's one thing I should know, doing 33 years.
No, I got it.
Philadelphia sports is whether a guy had a brain or not. Reed is the most overrated. Sirianni is the dumbest. Oh, and can I just get this one other thing in?
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, America, land of the free, land of opportunity. The biggest smacked ass you would ever meet in your lifetime, Gabe Kapler, today was named the general manager of the Florida Marlins. I would have placed a tree stump in that office before I would have given Gabe Kapler that job.
He's so dumb.
Gabe Kapler is now the GM of the Marlins.
Good.
So
job.
Needless to say, if you're a GM in big leagues, call the Marlins today. They have a jackass running the team.
No shit.
My God,
terrible,
these guys.
Man.
I dealt with all of them, Dan.
I see this.
Good, but Reed, no, Reed.
I got 2 more here for you. Now listen,
Yes.
I had Ray Didinger on. I had him on last week. He was brilliant. I asked him this question. Was Jalen Hurts the greatest quarterback the Eagles have ever had? And he said that Randall Cunningham was.
Wow. No, can't be. Randall Cunningham never won a championship. Now, I know what Ray's argument is. Ray played for coaches who really were not any good at coaching offense. I know that. And he lost Doug Scoville, the quarterback's coach.
He mentioned that. Instrumental
in Randall's development. Randall was the most talented. Randall's the most talented quarterback maybe ever.
I think he is the modern day Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I think he's Randall Cunningham today.
Right. But Randall, when he was an Eagle, he didn't win. He didn't win the championship. He didn't get close. Jalen Hurts is not as talented, but way smarter, way more of a team guy. Randall Cunningham, he saw it just as his show. And Buddy Ryan, who was his coach for many of the years he was in Philadelphia, let it be his show. Buddy didn't care about offense. He said, Randall, do your thing. I'm going to worry about my defense and the 4-6 and all that stuff that he did. But I'm telling you right now, I don't agree with Ray on that one, which now I have to wonder, man, I'm probably wrong. Ray's been right. And every time I've ever disagreed with Ray, I found that out I was wrong. So I would have to say, if you're betting at home, go with Ray on this. But personally, I got Hurts.
No, I said this. I went like this. I said, I know your role now at IP when you were there. He's like, what? I go, Angelo in the morning, Howard in the afternoon. I know your role. He goes, funny you should say that. And I said, I got the role here now. Okay, here's the last one, Angelo. Vic Fangio, better than Buddy Ryan, better than Bud Carson, better than Jim Schwartz, better than, like I said, Jim Johnson. In your opinion, has he been the best defensive coordinator the Eagles have ever had?
Jim Johnson was.
That's what Ray said too. Why for you?
Jim Johnson was an amazing coach. He was a guy who understood aggression and no risk and found the middle ground. You got a lot. Buddy Ryan, brilliant defensive mind, no question about it, but it was all aggression. And he would get burned because he blitzed all the time. And he took massive risks. And a lot of times it worked, but he never won a playoff game at Philly. So come on, you got to win at some point. So that Fangio is really good, really good. And he looks even better given that he came in after Jonathan Gannon was here. Jonathan Gannon is a moron. All right. Believe me that. Again, just listen for 10 minutes. You'll see what I'm talking about. Listen to him for 10 minutes. And you go, how the hell did this guy get to be a head coach? Right. Well, he screwed his own team. This is a long story, but in the end, he told the Eagles he wasn't going to talk to Arizona, and he went and talked behind their back before the Super Bowl.
He was house hunting.
Then his team collapsed in the second half of the Super Bowl, and he didn't think he should be held to blame for that. But bottom line is, the best was Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson, he just Dan, the thing about him was, I know Hollis Thomas personally. Hollis Thomas, you bring Jim Johnson up, and he goes. Seth Joyner, I used to work with, loved Jim Johnson. Because Jim Johnson took these talented guys, molded them into a great unit, and communicated. He communicated with them. He communicated with the coach. He communicated with the media. He checked every box. And none of these other guys checked every box. Jim Johnson is the best defensive coach I ever saw.
Last one here for you off of AngeloCataldi.com. You have a message for the Hurts bashers. What are they?
The Hurts bashers. Yeah, they're stupid. All right. You're stupid. You should keep your mouth shut. You don't know what you're talking about. All right. Seriously. You have no clue what you're talking about if you don't think that guy is top 5, top 3, possibly top. He's right there with the best guys. And you saw Torm yesterday. You saw Mahomes. You saw Allen. They're great. He is too. He is carrying now an offensive coordinator who needs a GPS to find his way to the NovaCare Center where their offices are. He is doing a lot of work you don't even know about, and he's holding them together. He's great. Seriously, guys, the people that are going after Hurts, maybe you should learn something about football before you talked about it, because that guy is a great football player.
Angelo, you were like the World Series on Saturday. You deliver. What'd you think of that thing, Angelo? I mean, Angelo, that was one of the, to me growing up, the 1975 World Series between the Red Sox and Reds.
Right.
That was arguably for me what really turned me on to baseball as a young kid.
Right.
And that was always been something that kind of always, the 86 series with the Mets and the Red Sox too was another one of those. What'd you make of that series on Saturday?
It was the rumors I've heard are that it is great. However, the game 3 ended at 2:50 a.m. in the East. Most of these games, the biggest moments in these great games happen on or around midnight. I am retired now, but I'm also extremely old. And I fall asleep. You know what I learned yesterday, Dan? I watched 7 hours of the Red Zone channel. It was just so damn entertaining. My God.
So Angelo Cataldi's become a man of clips?
I have I can watch all Scott Hanson's so great.
Yeah, Scott Hanson
coordinates it all.
Yeah.
I'm watching every game, every big play. It's wonderful. And I realized, I went, you know what? Baseball is so stupid. They didn't realize the most important games of the year and the most important innings of those games are played so late in the East that many, many people who would love them don't have access to them. They'd have to work or they have to get football. Every game, every big play is right there for you to see while you're still awake. And the more I watch football, Dan, the more I love it. Yep. Love it. And baseball to me is hockey. It's just another sport.
Wow, it's filler.
It's okay. Unless
so you and me, it's filler.
Now, the truth, it's kind of Philly. You're right. But if the Phillies fire Rob Thompson today, I might have a little more. But right now, as of now, it's filler.
Listen, I know that. I know we're like, we're getting past like the time here for you because you got to go on your walk here, and I know you don't.
No,
so here,
I'm very tired. I just did one of these 2 weeks ago, Dan.
Well, you told me it. You told me every two, so I know I got to build your energy up. So listen. So the Packers lost, the Lions lost.
Yep.
Cowboys could lose. The Commanders lost their quarterback, Jayden Daniels, last night. Plus, they're on a respirator. I mean, everything's setting up for them right now. You still got 10 wins.
If any of those teams get to an 11th win, they will topple the Eagles this year. Because the Eagles are having 10 wins. Listen closely to me. I am looking for redemption, and I believe I have nailed this one. I analyzed everything for the second half, and then I divided it by Kevin Petullo. And what I got in the end is, 10 wins is correct this year.
AngeloCataldi.com. Make sure you guys get to it, my friend. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you,
I hope so. I'm going to go rest right now. I hope I'm ready in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Thank you, Angelo. I appreciate
you later,
brother. Thank you, sir. Absolutely great stuff, man. Whoa. The Eagles are in for a nuclear meltdown in the second half of the season, according to Angelo Cataldi. I didn't say it. Was it Big Silz? Not me. I didn't say it. Wow. Okay, how many? Wait. Well, I know there's massive Glazers going on right now. And because you beat the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants, I knew this would be here. Did you see the other teams lose? I also saw you get your fucking faces kicked in by the Giants. I mean, of all the contending teams, you probably have the worst loss of anybody on your schedule. Okay? I mean, that includes Carolina. Like I said, I think you're in there for sure. And I think this Jaylen Phillips deal helps you a ton. I do. I added it all up and divided it by Kevin Petullo. That dude, Angelo, is funny. Absolutely. You added up everything and then you divided it by Kevin Petullo and you came up with 10 wins. Silz, I haven't moved off of 10 wins. What did I say, 10, 11? I think I said 11 this year. I think I'm still in there with 11. As a matter of fact, I'm even more convinced now that you got Jaylen Phillips that you're going to win 11. No, I don't. Listen, Sil, do you think this guy is boom or bust? No. I think Jaylen Phillips, his health will determine boom or bust. This has nothing to do with ability. Listen, you got a good player. The Jair Alexander move, hey, man, I don't know. You know what? In a zone, he may be really good in a zone. I don't know. I just know that he hasn't been able to get on the field in 5 years. And when he's gotten on the field in 5 years, he's not been very good. Okay? And so low risk, high reward. Sure. Well, then don't sit here and tout it out like it's a move. Okay? I don't believe there's a meltdown coming. Sills, I think you're going to be right there. I do not believe that, but I don't believe you're fucking head and heels. It's ridiculous. Your offense has had 2 decent weeks. Give me a break. And it's against the Giants. I knew this was going to go down like this. Again, get this. You take more away from the wins against the Minnesota Vikings and the Giants than you do the losses to the Giants and the Broncos. How fucked up is that? Think about what I just said. You're glazing more over what you did with Minnesota and with the Giants than you were with the losses to the Giants and Broncos. I think the Broncos have won 6 straight against some pretty good football teams. You think you're better than the Broncos? The Broncos have a better resume than you. They've beaten you. We're the best team in the league. How are you the best team in the league when the Broncos have – am I right when I say that? Let me double check here. How many games the Broncos? How are you better than the Broncos? And they got Bo Nix as a quarterback. Do I believe that? Not really. How many games have the Broncos won in a row? They've won 6 in a row. How are you better than Denver? How are you better than Denver? The Broncos beat you. And we're the best team in the league. Based on what? Let's see here. Let me go here with the Broncos. And by the way, I don't really believe the Broncos are better than you. I don't. Okay? Let's see here. I mean, look. Here's the Denver Broncos here. Let's go here. Broncos. Let me go down the line here. Broncos. Let me see how many. I want to see who they've beaten. Schedule. So they lost to the Colts. They lost to the Chargers. They've beaten the Eagles. The only legitimate win on here, they beat the Jets. They beat Houston, but they've beaten you. And they've won 6 straight. They've beaten Cincinnati. Get this. This is who the Broncos have beaten. They've beaten Tennessee, Cincinnati, the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Texans. Their biggest win on their schedule is you. And do you think they're better than you? I don't. I don't think they're better than you. No, the Giants did. The Giants rolled you over. Right. It's an easy schedule. Yet they've got 6 in a row, and they've beaten you. They got a claim to say they're best team in the league? No. If you guys are claiming that you're better, they've beaten you. I don't believe they are. I think that's a fluke game. That's my point I'm making to you. I think that's a fluke game. It's a week-to-week deal. Like, I think Seattle's one of the best teams in the league right now. You know, that loss that they had to the Bucks, they lost 3 guys in their front 4 for that game. I think Seattle's a good football team, dude. I think Sam Darnold has put his name in the conversation for MVP. I think the Rams are better than the Broncos. Bro, you'll hype up the Broncos. I just fucking said it, Doomkoff. That I don't look at that loss you had to the Broncos. I don't think they're better. Did you not hear me, or do you hear 2% of what I fucking just said? Stupidity at its finest. Right there. I never said the Bronco win makes me think you're not still one of the best teams in the league. I think you're better than them. I think you're better than Denver, and Denver's got to win against you. They never, I mean, you're right. They don't listen. It's amazing how you use other teams' injuries to I'm not justifying nothing. I'm telling you what happened. Injuries do not justify losses and wins. It's part of it. That's why when I say when Tucker Kraft gets hurt, I want one more time on that. So Tucker Kraft got hurt. Good for the Eagles. Silz, are you hoping he got hurt? No. It's called the war of attrition. The Green Bay Packers have to overcome that. That's what it is. Teams lose good players. Hey, I mean, So the first thing out of this guy's mouth is, I just got home. Is Silz crapping on the trade? You'll have to go back and watch it, brother. This is not a fun season. Oh, I think it's compelling. I love compelling. I do. You can't say that, Big Silz. What can I say? Not sure what you're talking. Very difficult for a corner to come into a defense in the middle of the season and play zone. Need communication. He played zone though in Green Bay. Yeah, when all of you guys were glazing Green Bay, I never was ever at any time, even when they beat the pants off the Lions. Ooh, Green Bay is going to be a problem. I was like, really? Okay. All right. Didn't the same guy say we're winning? Yes, Angelo did. By the way, before I bring G Cobb up here, I want G Cobb to hear this because I'm going to set it up here. Angelo Cataldi came out and said the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go in a second half nuclear meltdown because of Bobo Patullo. And in the second half, the Eagles are going to win 10 games total. Now, I can't wait to hear what Gary Cobb has to say from Fox 29. Now, to give some context for G Cobb to comment, Jaylen Phillips is a Miami Hurricane. I helped recruit him. Miami Hurricanes coaching him. And Clint Hurt. The agent is Drew Rosenhaus, who has a lot of connections in the room. And by the way, if you go back on my X account, I've been tweeting about Jaylen Phillips since Wednesday of last week. This was going to come down to the money, that how much the Eagles were going to have to pick up, because that imbecile owner known as Stephen Ross is right now in a fire sale. Do you know what an estate sale is? You get a chance to go in a guy's house. You get to buy. After a guy kicks the bucket, usually the family will sell all the, like when I die, my family's going to sell everything I have. It's going to be like an estate sale. They're going to come in and go, we don't want this garbage. And so what they're going to do, they're going to sell all that. So it's going to be like an estate sale. Okay? And that's kind of what Stephen Ross is doing right now with his players. It's like an estate sale. Okay? And Jaylen Phillips was the first casualty of that. It's funny, you tell the coach then to go out and win, and you're selling everybody on the planet. All right. Without further ado, what will Gary Cobb from Fox 29 say the second half of the Philadelphia Eagles season will be? Right now, we bring in our friend G Cobb from Fox 29, former Philadelphia Eagle. G Cobb, what's your takeaway? What do you think before we get to the trades? What do you think the second half of the season will be for the Eagles?
I think they, I think they're going to do well in the second half. I don't think they're going to just roll over. I don't think it's going to go out like that. You got a team that they've learned quite a few things. This is a young team, virtually young. I mean, for the if you look at Jaylen, his age and everything, they've been through a lot. I mean, it's not like they've been over in the corner somewhere. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 times. And, the last time they were there, they won. They played against some good teams. They went through a couple years ago where, they fell apart at the second half of the season. So they know what that's like. And I just think that they have the seasoning. They've got a lot of players that have been through struggles. And I don't think they're going to roll over. They've shown just this season. Come on, they haven't been blowing these teams away. They have found ways to win, and that they know how to play that game where it's a tight game and you can't make any mistakes, and you got to take care of the football, and you got to make some plays to win. Jaylen has shown that, at the beginning of the season, they didn't have any running game. They had to make plays, find ways to get it done. Then he knows that when it's necessary, he'll run with the football and everything. So I think they're a team that can find ways to win, and they can win ugly. They don't. So I don't think they're going to roll over. Do I think it's going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. I mean, they got, these next 2 games. You got Green Bay. They thought they'd be coming in and playing a Green Bay team that was going to be relaxing a bit. But after losing to the Panthers, they're going to get a Packers team that's going to go, that really got shook. I mean, they're not supposed to be losing to the Panthers. So they got that. And then they got the Lions, who they lost this week too. So, but I don't think the Eagles, though, they're not a team that's going to roll over and quit. And I think they're going to find ways to win. And it's going to be tight, though. They're going to be playing in some tight games. They're not going to blow these teams out. But I do think they're going to be there standing, and they're going to be I think they're at least going to be one of the last 4 teams standing in the NFC. Okay.
How about this, Gary? Don't you agree now with the moves that you've seen post-camp that Howie is now in? This is what Angelo said, and I kind of agree with it. Uh-huh. It's like Howie lit the house on fire, and we're supposed to be praising him for putting the house out that was on fire.
I know, and I hear they haven't gotten it. They haven't gotten them all right. I mean, they obviously have admitted that they missed some with some of the evaluations they've made. But what he's going to stand there and do? Oh, sit there and hold his hand?
I agree with you. They pivoted.
They admitted by making these moves. They admitted they made some mistakes.
Yeah, they pivoted.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And they're trying to rescue because, even though I will say that, some of the young kids have played a little better, the last few games, they played a little better. But earlier, they were horrible. And I could understand why they're going out. They've signed 2 cornerbacks. And they went out and got them a pass rusher.
Actually, they got 3 from that kid Bennett. Remember Bennett? Mm-hmm. Then they went and got the kid from the Jets. And now they just got Jair Alexander. So since the season started, they've brought 3 new dudes in. Correct.
And so that's obviously admitting that these guys aren't getting it done, And so they've made now, how much are they going to get out of these guys? We don't know. I mean, Jair Alexander has played at a Pro Bowl level, but he clearly has not been playing that way.
He's missed 40 games in 5 years.
Man. Yeah, he's, I mean, for him not to even be playing right now, where he was like,
and
they got him there, a healthy scratch. Come on.
Yeah.
So that shows you. So we'll see whether, you got one of his coaches, the coach in the Eagles, that was obviously pushing for him.
Christian Parker.
So he thinks that he can bring this guy, revive his career. We will see if that's true. We'll see. I mean, I
like the Phillips deal, and I put the premise on this. Mm-hmm. When healthy, if you remember right, and Gary, let me give you the history here, because if you remember right, Manny Diaz coached him at Miami. Now, remember, when he went into the transfer portal, we were trying to get him to come to Miami. Like, I helped out a lot with the program. We tried to get Rocco Spindler. He ended up landing at Nebraska instead of coming to Miami. So I've been involved with some of these moves that they've brought in for some of these transfer kids. If you think about it, Russo up in Buffalo, Jaylen Phillips. And then when Manny got fired as the head football coach at Miami, where did he go? He went to Penn State. He recruited Michael Parsons. He recruited Abdul Carter. So this kid here has the fundamentals to be able to move around like that. And if he's healthy, I mean, Gary, he's a game-changing type guy if he's healthy. He's a good football player.
Well, I looked at
automatically the best edge they have right now.
Yeah, he looks like a good athlete. Good size, coming off the corner and everything. You can see that he's got some power moves, and also come with the speed and got the long arms and everything. So you can see that he's got the capability to be a good pass rusher.
What do you think this adds? I mean, now look, if you go like this, now where does that leave Jihad Campbell then? Because now look, you've brought in Brandon Graham, you're getting Nolan Smith back. you make a deal for Jaylen Phillips. Am I wrong to say this? That means that Campbell, because, dude, Dean is the better player right now when he's on the field. You could see the difference in the defense. Does that mean, again, Campbell's not played poorly. He's not been a liability.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that means less snaps for him, or does that mean less opportunities for Brandon Graham?
Well, this is something I was thinking about right away when you start talking about taking snaps away from him. See, when Nakobe came back, you can see Nakobe, he's more seasoned. He's been through this. He's seen, he reacts with a lot more aggression when he's attacking a play because he's recognized. He's seen this stuff longer than he has, So they definitely want Dean on the field. Not to mention that Dean he's one of the leaders on that defense, and they kind of missed him last year some, when he was out of there. But he definitely is a guy that should be on the field playing now. But you don't want to see, Campbell lose snaps too much because you want to continue developing him because his upside is huge. I mean, with the way he can run and everything. So they got to find a way to continue letting him on there, getting some snaps. And I definitely think he should be on the field on pass plays, see, or at least on third and long. Any third and longs, he needs to be on the field because he's got the speed to run with people. We've seen him get his hands on balls where he's running downfield with a guy who's running the post. He's running step for step with the receiver because he's got that kind of speed. So they definitely don't want to just put him on the bench and where he's not playing anymore. So they want to get him on the field. But they do have somewhat of I'm not going to call it a dilemma because, having too many good players is not a problem, but they want to find ways to keep letting him play. At the same time, you want Dean on the field. You want to let Phillips come in there. He's going to be rushing the passer, but they'll just have to find a way to work the kid in some, letting him play some linebacker, letting him play on the edge, and letting him get some snaps.
Gary, who do you think in the second half has to have the bigger second half, Barkley or AJ, for this team to get back to the NFC Championship game?
Well, Barkley or AJ? Well, I would say Barkley because they have built this team around that running game, and even if AJ just he catches 3 to 4 balls a game, if there's substantial catches like he can make them, then he's still going to be a factor. Even if he's just catching 4 balls, But I would like to see them, take advantage of opportunities that they're going to get with people trying to stop Saquon. See, but because if Saquon has a big second half, then teams are going to be they're already trying to stop him. They're going to try to stop him, which is going to open things up for the passing game. They're going to be able to throw the ball when they want to. But what they can do, and they have already done this some, is when they do take shots, they're not throwing 5-yard routes. They're throwing the ball downfield and taking advantage of opportunities where they've got good passing situations. When they can do that, see, then they hurt teams because, they're going to make big plays when they do throw the ball. And I think that's probably the offense when the Eagles are at their best right now is, and we've already seen that. When they start taking shots to either Devontae or AJ, when a team is trying to stop that ground game and a team is vulnerable because they don't have the safety sitting in the hole, anything. That safety's up there trying to stop the run, and then they're vulnerable to big plays downfield. And we know Jaylen throws a good deep ball, and that's really where the Eagles really, I think, are at their best.
Do you think that Devontae Smith has now become the number 1 wide receiver in Philly?
No, I think they got 2 number 1s, really. He's capable of being that. But I think that, AJ hasn't lost anything. He suffered an injury, But I will give Devontae credit. I mean, he's a big time player. He makes plays. He gets an opportunity. He takes advantage of it. So, you know, I think he's been there all along, though. And you got to give him a lot of credit in that he's, you know, he wants the ball just like AJ. You know, he's just not going to, react in the same way. But, you know, Devontae wants the ball. That's, I mean, and you know that. The receivers want the ball.
Yeah.
And they should. You don't want a guy that doesn't want the ball, because
that's right.
In a big situation, they want the ball and they're going to be ready to make big plays if they have that kind of attitude.
Who do you think has been at the halfway point, the defensive MVP, Jalen Carter or Zach Bond or Cooper DeJean?
I think Cooper's probably played the steadiest. He's been outstanding, I think, the whole year.
Has he surprised you how good he's been?
No, because I get a chance to see him out there. I'm going like, people don't know how good he is. I mean,
do you think the Eagles are surprised how good he is? Because he was a second rounder. Not saying that second rounder's bad.
They were surprised he was still there. Okay, so they thought he was a first round talent, and you can see he is a first round talent.
He is.
I mean, I haven't seen any receivers running away from him. He can run with any receiver just about in the league. You know, they try to go deep. You know, he's running step for step with the guy. And then the other thing he does is, you know, he tackles like he's a safety.
Yeah.
He has no problem. He's a great open field tackler, you know, and, you know, he's a good size safety.
You remember Kenny Easley?
Oh, yeah.
Like that kind of skill set. Not to that level yet, but you know what I mean? I mean, Gary, he like he was like a safety playing, like he could play corner. He was such a great and gifted athlete when he was at UCLA.
I played with a guy who did a lot of things. I saw him do a lot of things with a guy by the name of Ronnie Lott.
Like that I was going to say that, but I thought that was too much.
You know, we asked him to play corner. He plays corner. You know, he asked him to play safety, and then he likes tackling people too. You know, so you know, but I will tell you, Cooper, he has been. You know, I've been out. You know, I'm out there practicing. I'm checking him out, and you can see that he's versatile. He's really, you know, he could be a safety very easy. He could play safety for you however much you want him to. But then again, you know, because he can cover one man to man, and he does a great job of, let's say, a little wide receiver. He'll move up on him and get physical with him. You know, and then, you know, a guy that's fast, he runs stride for stride with the guy. So he really is a very versatile player, and they know they could utilize him different ways. And it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him, what they decide to do. And you know, they're going to be looking at these guys to see what they have from a talent standpoint. Like Michael Carter, I see, you know, he's in that slot. They have been playing. He's been playing in the slot. You know, so. Do you let Cooper go out and play corner? You know, are you going to do that, or are you going to? But I just think that I know that Vic likes him in that slot. You know, the nickel corner. That's where he likes Cooper to play. And so even though Michael Carter plays that, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm interested to see how they utilize these guys. And then, you know, you add where they grabbed Jair Alexander. You know, they're going to take a look at those guys and see who can help them where. And I think they'll utilize Cooper, whatever's to the best advantage of the team.
Looks like the Seahawks are in the conversation to try to get Trey Hendrickson before tomorrow.
Oh, is that so? Okay. I tell you, boy, the Seahawks, they put a whooping on Washington, man.
They're getting better and better, too, defensively, man. They can.
Yeah,
That Mike McDonald can coach up there, dog.
Hey,
they're good.
They have been the most impressive team. Yeah. I mean, I was very impressed with the way that they played, meaning like they got physical with Washington.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. I mean, they can run the ball, and then, you know, you got the quarterback playing great. Yeah, they're a good football team. There's no doubt about it.
That Walker kid, the second that got out of Michigan State a couple years ago, can play. And looks like Trey Hendrickson, there's something going on right now, potentially with Trey Hendrickson going to Seattle.
They didn't look like they did. They didn't look like they.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, way. Right?
The way they beat up Washington, because I tell you, they went into Washington.
They kicked the shit out of them
In front of their home crowd, and it's like they were telling them, "We're gonna do this to you, and you're gonna like it too."
Man,
they just went in and just beat up.
Dude, he had 4 touchdowns by the half.
I know. I mean,
I was like,
they dominated Washington, man. Well, the thing is, we'll see what the Cowboys have. What they're gonna come on with, because Washington, they're done. They're done, man.
They're done right now. Yeah.
The Giants are not in it. The Giants are not in. So we'll see. The Cowboys, are they going to make it interesting?
They lose tonight. I mean, how about this? The Eagles had one of the best weekends they've had all year.
I know, and
Packers lost, Lions lost, all these teams lost in the NFC, right?
And they didn't even play. Yeah, you're right. I mean, all those teams had some tough losses, man. But I tell you, that Green Bay is going to they got to get up off the turf, and the same thing with Detroit. So they're going to have they're going to get physical with the Eagles, and they're going to they know that they got to show something. Those losses, those were some disappointing losses by both of those teams. So they're going to be ready to show the Eagles what they have. Those are going to be some good games.
Gary, I'll tell you what. One thing's for sure. I got to tell you. I mean, Carolina Panthers. We said that they were going to be one of the surprise teams this year, and I mean, they're now sitting at, I believe, 5-4 now. They just beat the Green Bay Packers. I know they were obliterated by the Bills the week before, but
yeah,
they got the Cowboys on there. I mean, the Eagles barely beat them. Green Bay tied them. They beat them.
Yep.
I mean, they got crushed, I think, by the Patriots, if I remember right. They shut out the Falcons, which, okay, whatever. But, I mean, Bryce Young's looking good.
Like you mentioned the Patriots. Look at the year that they've been having so far. I mean, wow. I'm surprised by, what the Patriots are doing. And then you mentioned the Panthers too. Basically, this has been some kind of season, and you're just at the halfway mark. But we'll see what the Cowboys got tonight. Against the Cardinals, they got to take care of business with the Cardinals. We'll see whether they do or not.
What's funny is that Eagle fans obviously think they're the best team, and I don't think that they're not in the conversation to be obviously part of that. But the Broncos beat them. Broncos got 6 straight wins, and get this: the Broncos have beaten nobody. Like, there's nobody on that schedule outside of them beating Philly, and they've won 6 straight games. So I think it's as wide open as ever. Don't you agree? It's wide open as ever.
Yeah, it is. It's this is just an amazing year. And you brought up the Broncos. They are amazing because look how many games they won,
Last second, come from behind.
Come from behind. I mean, you're going, and everyone is, most of them have been low scoring games where you're going into the fourth quarter and the Broncos have 7 points and they find a way to come back and win. I mean, it's amazing.
What I would say this about Philly, though. I would say that of the schedule that they've played with the amount of teams that if we're going to use a college metric, I would have to say, they've probably played the better teams and had a better result. Yeah. I mean, they have an ugly loss on there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they've played the Bucs. They've beaten the Rams. They've beaten Kansas City. They've beaten these teams that are in the conversation. So, you would lean there, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. And then the thing about the Eagles is, and this is the way they're talking and they're thinking. They know they got to play better than they have played.
They know
and
that.
They believe that they've shown that they're capable of doing that, raising their level of play. And they know they got to do that. Now, the whole thing is, can they take it up a notch? Can they go into a game where they have that running game that we saw against the Giants, where they show up with that running game, and they got that passing game that we've seen, at times that they show up and they take their game to a higher level, with the bright lights on. That's what they know they've got to do, and we'll see whether they can do that or not. because if they can beat all these teams, But of
Yeah.
course, that also means with the defense, we've seen that all of the acquisitions they've made have been on the defensive side of the ball. So they know they got to step it up over there too. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Well,
season.
that's where all the losses were, because that's where Howie, again, stripped the team down. He stripped the team down. He pivoted, and which is great. He totally pivoted. However, he created this. Okay, at the end of the day, I mean, they went cheap. It's the cheapest defense in football right now. And so they pivoted
the most expensive offense.
With the most expensive offense, the cheapest defense in football. And now they've had to give up some draft picks to kind of counter that there. I will say this. You tell me if you agree. Here's the last one for you. The Eagles are terrible on third down offensively, and they're terrible on defense on third down, which means getting off the field and too many 3-and-outs. Do you think that if they improve those two going into the second half, that's how you find yourself back into the NFC Championship game? And maybe Jaylen Phillips, he's already their best edge. Okay? Yeah. And now you improve your edge room automatically by adding that guy to the room right now. You improve that, Gary. That's how you get back to the NFC title game, because to me, that's their biggest problem. Too many 3-and-outs, and the defense can't get off the field.
Now, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with most of that. The only thing is that running game. If they run the ball on people, then they're going to have the long possessions. They're going to wear people's defenses out and everything, and then that's going to set up everything to make throwing the ball even easier. So I still think that they got to show up with that running game that they had against the Giants. The offensive line, and I think they did figure some things out where they're doing more double teaming to get movement, and then they're coming off on the linebackers and everything. They're doing more of that, going to the double team, and if that's what they got to do, then you block things a little differently. But they got to have that running game too, if you ask me. And if they have that, boy, I tell you, they're going to be tough to beat.
Absolutely.
They haven't shown they can do that. They just showed the game against the Giants.
I mean, you got to love Eagle fans, though, man. You would swear that they've been doing that all year, playing against the Giants. You would swear that, hey, the offensive passing game's back, and that these moves are like, you would think they traded for Deion Sanders and Reggie White. I mean, I'm like, okay, all right, here, hang on there. Let's see how this thing is. I mean, it's great to have optimism, but I'm like, holy cow.
Hey, well, the thing about, Eagle fans is just, okay, now they can criticize them, but they don't want you criticizing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. G-Cobb, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Buddy. Catch you next week, man.
All right, have a good one.
You got it. Yeah, no, listen, I completely agree with you guys. I do. I mean, look, that Jaylen Phillips deal has made you better. Look at this, man. I barely even touched any of this. I got it sitting over here. That's all we've been talking about. Okay? Silz hates that we're confident. No, it's not. I don't hate any of that. I think you're great fans. When have you ever heard me say that? I actually told you you're a great fan base, and that's why I like talking to you. Once again, made up bullshit. Not true. Now, that's just no... Gary's right, because we paid the rent. Well, no, rent's not paid yet. Rent will be paid in February. Oh, that's right. It's only quarter to two out here tonight. Will be the first night. Oh, yeah, hey, dude, I got up this morning, no doubt. They did the clock thing on me. Crazy. Devontae Smith is the best wide receiver on the Eagles. No, he's not. It's A.J. Brown. Stop talking like that. Are you crazy? He's the best receiver? You would think he's better than A.J. Well, I don't. Criticism is one thing. Hating is completely different. Hating means I know you, Donald. And I don't know these guys from a can of paint. Hating means I know you. Criticizing is what we see. How could I hate somebody I don't know? I don't hate anybody. How could I hate you if I don't know you? It's always that one of the strangest things on the planet. I hate that guy. And I'm like, do you know? No. How do you hate him? You mean to dislike the style of play? Okay, that's one thing. You hate people you don't know is the weirdest and wildest thing. It's like people that have magazines that look at chicks and go, woo, I think that's weird. It's weird. Ooh, I got a picture of a naked girl. Wow, guy. How weird can you be? Silz is okay, but he'd be better if he wasn't a gimmick host. Yeah, I've been doing a gimmick host for 40 years. Yeah, a gimmick? The fuck are you talking about? What's the gimmick? Someone will have to tell me what the gimmick is. I have no idea what that means. Zero. Okay? Maybe he didn't, but he coached him at Penn State. James, I bet he says different in a room alone with his friends. I'm not saying he hates AJ, but there's no way Smitty doesn't think he's the best. Look at his track record. Heisman Trophy has nothing to do with AJ. AJ Brown's a better professional football player than Devontae Smith is. He's a more talented player. Just because you won a national championship in college, that don't mean dick in the NFL. Nothing. Zero. If that was the case, the Heisman Trophy winner would be the first pick in the draft every year. You win a Heisman? You think that has anything to do with the NFL? Zero. Zero. Actually, how many quarterbacks have won Super Bowls that have won the Heisman? Let's see. Staubach, Plunkett, can you name another one? Elway never won a Super Bowl or never won a Heisman. Heisman Trophy? Name me a quarterback that won the Super Bowl that won the Heisman. Plunkett, Staubach, Heisman never won it. Manning never won it. There's only two in 60 years. Heisman Trophy matters in the NFL. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That ain't spinning shit, dude. That's reality. Heisman Trophy matters. Yeah, okay. Who's the first pick every year? That's the best player in the game of college football every year. Traditionally. Or the most coveted because of the quarterback position. You want to know who the best player in college was? Take a look at the NFL draft next April. That'll tell you. Not some award shows. I mean, Silz, the Heisman Trophy is nothing but a dust collector when it comes to the NFL. Yeah, you see that Heisman house. Most of those guys didn't win shit. Hey, you doing? Hey, you doing? Here we go. Watch this. Here's Mr. Know-It-All here, who knows ass from nothing. You're such a fucking dumbass. You know how hard it is to win a Heisman as a receiver? It's one of the greatest accomplishments of all time for a college guy. What's that got to do with the NFL? Dick. Oh, yeah. Hey, why don't you tell the other guy who won the Heisman? Desmond Howard. He won a Super Bowl MVP. Where is he? Is he some sort of Hall of Famer? That'd be no. That'd be no. Desmond Howard and Smitty. Okay? Great. Very comparable. Desmond Howard and Smitty. All right. Okay? That's right. NFL's a whole different deal. Yeah, Johnny Football. Johnny Football. Okay? Remember Jason White from, he won a Heisman. Ooh, what happened to him in the pros? I must have forgot. What happened to him? What happened to Johnny Manziel? Well, wait. Desmond Howard won a Super Bowl MVP. Won a Heisman Trophy. You just got to telling me the Heisman Trophy is the hardest thing to do. This guy won a Super Bowl MVP with the Green Bay Packers. He's got more accolades. Desmond Howard actually made a Pro Bowl. Smitty has no Pro Bowls. He's not more accomplished. So 2 wide receivers have won the Heisman, won Super Bowls. Man, sounds like I'm right. How are you right? How are you right that it matters? Desmond Howard was an average wide receiver in the pros. He was your point was if you win the Heisman, it's a big deal in the NFL. It's not. It's a great accomplishment. The award has been given out since 1936. It's one of the greatest, and it's one of the most overrated awards in all of sports. Now, when a wideout or a DB wins it, it is special. But it has no impact on the NFL. It's a college award. It's a total college award. Doesn't mean you're going to... The best wide receiver in NFL history went to Mississippi Valley State. The second best one, if you want to go where T.O. went, I forget where T.O. went. East Tennessee State, some shit like that. Come on now. All right. Once again, outstanding. Great stuff, guys, here on this Monday. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Thank you guys so much, man. You guys have been great. We got a lot of super chats. By the way, I know you think that I forgot them. Yeah, Tennessee Chattanooga. Thank you, Denny. I appreciate that. Okay? Thank you. Bro. Right. Whatever, guy. Sit back and relax. Randy went to Marshall, but he initially got recruited to Notre Dame, then Florida State, and then he had to go to Marshall. If you remember it, he got thrown out in both places. All right. Without further ado, look at this. I'm going to have to save this for tomorrow. I never moved off my topics. I don't have one. Look at this. Everything's in order here. Look at this here. All right. Without further ado, guy had breaking. I'm getting ready for my Tampa radio show this morning, and I see Xander popping up. I'm like, holy shit, something went down. Now, remember, we've been tweeting this out since Wednesday about Jaylen Phillips. This was all going to come down to the money because that owner, who's an imbecile, Stephen Ross, he's just an imbecile. And he wanted the Eagles to pick up all of it. And Howie's like, no. And so Howie got the best end of this because minimum, you're getting a comp pick back. At the end, if the player plays great, you're getting a great edge that you might not have to address in the draft in the first round. Do you understand how good that is? You may not have to address this and only go corner if this guy pans out. Worst case scenario, you get a third rounder. Okay. Without further ado, we appreciate my friend here. We had to get all the guys on. Angelo was funny as hell. I don't agree with everything he said. Without further ado, the man from Birds 365, our friend Big Z, Xander Kraus joins us now.
What's up, Big Silz? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, dude? So, give me your takeaways, man. What you thinking that your boy did today with Jaylen Phillips?
Yeah, I think Howie's doing a good job. I mean, I don't agree with Angelo that, just because he had a bad offseason, which I'm not saying he didn't have a bad offseason. I think it's a good thing that you look at where you went wrong and you don't let it be the death of you. If you make a bad decision, we all make them. No GM on the planet will shoot 100% from the field. So just the ability to kind of adjust and bring in the right names. But today is more about the rest of the league right now than it is to me about the Eagles. And the Eagles obviously play a big part in that, just in how good they are. But if you look around the league right now, there's really nobody in the NFC that I fear. I think the Rams and the Seahawks are emerging as maybe the two biggest threats to the Eagles. Jordan Love is what he is. I think that Packer team has big issues. They just lost Tucker Kraft for the rest of the year. The Lions, they have great games and they have awful games. I can't quite figure them out. So I think the Eagles are in a really good spot right now, coming off, going into the trading deadline here. And I think Howie's done a good job. I think Howie's done a pretty good job to kind of boost the defense up. And the one other thing I'll say about Howie is you can't look at it like, well, why didn't he do this in the offseason? They have a different mindset in March and April than they do in November at the trade deadline. You're juggling different things. You're looking at different contracts. You're looking at the draft. You're looking at asset. Everything is viewed differently at that time.
He's addressing failure here. He's addressing his offseason failure.
But it's also based on what the league is doing, how the team has played in the first 8 weeks.
I think
they are 6-2.
Are playing.
Well, the Eagles are 6-2, and still to me look like
I
one
don't
of the
think
best.
he's looking at anything other than the fact that, hey, we got here not playing great ball. We got here playing C- ball. And right now I'm going to make moves that, quite frankly, you failed at Ringo. You're not really getting great corner play. Your edges were okay.
What would you rather him do, though? Not make these moves?
You heard me all 3 hours.
I know, but I'm not going to sit here and just go over and over again at what he did wrong. I mean,
okay,
I'm not going to analyze March and April anymore. I'm fucking analyzing the season. And right now, he got us better. Did he not?
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Well, you like Jaylen Phillips. I think, if he stays healthy, then you got better.
If he stays healthy, correct.
He's healthy right now.
I said I love the move. Okay? Now, once again, too, you've obviously moved the gamut for yourself off the Minnesota and Giant game. I haven't. I think you're in the room with a bunch of good football teams right now, and I still think you have a scheme and schematic thing that you still have to correct. That's third down defensively and offensively before I'm going to start saying you've turned this magical wheel around here. So to me, do I think you've added components to it? I absolutely do. Do I think you get the benefit? Because I do think you've played better teams. Like, how are you better than the Broncos?
I mean, I hear you using.
How can you say that? But then again, do I believe the Broncos are better than you? No.
No, but I also don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking this way, but I always look at this.
You don't think the Broncos are better than you, do you?
No, I don't. But I also just look at them to me as an AFC opponent, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be ranked, but to me, I look at the NFC before I look at the league because our path to the Super Bowl is going through the NFC. Now, that might not be the right way to look at it. You can look at the Broncos and the Bills and some Chiefs and say,
hey, maybe division and then NFC.
Yeah, I've always looked at it as where do we stand in our conference? Because even our division, like I don't have to win the division to get to the playoffs. It gives you a good chance. Obviously, you guarantee a playoff spot if you win. But I've always looked at it as where are we amongst our conference, and then I'll worry about the AFC when we get to that point. Right now, I'm looking at the NFC, and I think when it comes to pedigree and big games, the Eagles have proven the most in those big games. The Packers certainly have not. The Lions certainly have not. They got boat raced last year at home by the Commanders, who have fallen off a cliff this year. I think the Eagles right now have the best chance. And I'm really not even trying to be an Eagle homer here. Like, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl as an Eagle fan. That's not what it's about. I think objectively looking at the NFC, as it stands at week 10, doesn't mean it's going to be that way for the rest of the year. I think the Eagles look to me like they have legitimately the best chance to come out of the NFC. Health considered, roster considered, offense considered, defense considered.
I think the Rams do too.
And I think where you're right is, Broncos and Giants games aren't just removed. Well, I put that out today on Twitter. I think the Rams are the best opponent for us. They're the toughest test, in my opinion.
So you think they're the biggest threat, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're the biggest threat right now. And I actually think, weirdly enough, the Seahawks are looming. They got a good team, dude. They got a good defense. I know it's Sam Darnold. I know.
I'm with you.
That's my thing too. I think he's going to fall.
Last two games I can't shake from a year ago.
I got you. Different team, though. Down. Different team. I think Kevin O'Connell's a bit overrated in my opinion. But that roster is obviously pretty good in Minnesota last year that he had.
Mike McDonald can coach, can he?
Yeah. And they got a good defense in Seattle, dude. And he's got playing. That Jackson Smith and Jigba, that kid is special, dude.
Is that kid from Ohio State?
Yes, that kid is fucking special, dude. That is.
You're telling me him and Emeka Buka were on the same team?
Yeah. And Chris Olave and one more, and Marvin Harrison. Ohio State's putting out some NFL talent, man. They deserve a lot of credit, no doubt. I know I'm a Bama guy, but Bama bye week. When you have a bye week in anything, in the NFL or in college, you know what you want? You don't want the phone to ring over something bad, and something bad happened in Alabama this week. Drake Kirkpatrick just got suspended by the team because he got arrested over the weekend. Driving, recklessly and all sorts of shit. Tried to flee from the cops. So Drake Kirkpatrick's dad played it out. He's kind of a legend at Alabama. So the son now is there. Unfortunate for Bama, but we'll talk about that at another time. But no, honestly, Silz, I'm not even trying to look at it from an Eagle homer. I'm just looking at the NFC, and I'm like, this is a weird league this year. Weird league this year. And I think the Eagles have prevailed from injuries. Like, we've had injuries, but nobody's out for the year and outside of like Van Sumeren and a couple other guys. Yeah, I'll knock on wood. I'm with you. I don't really believe in the jinx, but I'll do it anyway. I think we're the most healthy. And the other thing is, we've proven that we win games that even aren't when we don't play our best. And other teams don't seem to do that. Like the Packers, when they don't play great, they don't win. When the Lions don't play great, they don't win. And we've proven that even the Buccaneers game, the Rams game, we didn't play great football. We played C to C plus football in those games. And we beat two teams that are top, good NFC teams. That's where I think the Eagles just have the pedigree going in. And then you add in the Jaylen Phillips move, which, look, I was beating the drum for Myles Garrett because I truly believe that move would solidify us as the team.
Next 3 years.
Yes, for the next 3 years. And that was my whole thing there. But if you're not going to go down that road, I think this is a good trade. And I think the one thing that people are missing, and there are some people talking about it, but this was also a comp pick move, Silz. Because I know they gave up a third, and people are like, third for half a year? That's expensive. But if he makes over $14 million on the open market next year, if we don't sign him back, if he makes anything over $14 million, we get a 4th round pick in the comp pick, projected. If he makes over $22 million, which he might if he has a ball in it rest of the season, we're going to get a 3rd round pick back. And then it was basically nothing. So, I think that's a great move.
Now are in the mix of getting Quentin Williams from the Jets.
Oh, man, former Bama guy. That dude can play. Interesting move for them. I mean, they have decent interior defensive line play. I thought they'd be looking more for an edge rusher, but he is a pass rushing tackle.
Run, dude. They got to stop the run.
Yeah, I guess Kenny Clark hasn't helped them in that regard.
Yeah, no. So Quentin Williams potentially going to the.
I look like I'm like in captivity or something. Still, is everyone saying I'm held hostage?
Somebody
right
said
now?
that you look like
the white walls or something.
You're being interrogated or something here.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm not. I am all good. Everybody.
Let me tell you. Here's my takeaway on Jaylen Phillips. I think it's a B+ move. Health. I'm going to always end the conversation with health with him. But he's a portal kid that went to Miami. Manny Diaz had him at the University of Miami. Manny Diaz moved him around the same way when Manny became the defensive coordinator at Penn State with Parsons and with Abdul Carter. He's a versatile kid. He's already your best edge rusher. Here's the thing. He did not want to leave Miami, but Drew Rosenhaus talked him into it, going, you're going to go to a better situation where you're going to be able, if you have a good year, you're going to be a $25 million a year player. Whether that's in Philly or not, you're going to be a $25 million a year player. He's a young kid. Him and Russo were at the University of Miami with Manny. And I really love these guys. Both follow me on Twitter. We talk all the time. And Robert Bailey said that this all came down. Remember, when you get a shitty owner like Stephen Ross, and do you know the reason why they got a yard sale right now is because they had to fire Chris Greer, because Chris Greer goes, no. And then the owner came in and goes, we're firing you. They released
I
them.
think because Chris Greer might actually not be too dumb. He might be the least dumb one over there. But
yeah, because you can't tell the coach to go win games and you're dumping everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you just got through doing that shit with Brian Flores.
They're a shit team. They should just reload anyway.
Shit team, shit organization.
I mean, look, I was a Tua guy. I obviously went to Bama, and I had class with Tua a lot of time. I know Tua personally. I had multiple classes with Tua, but he's not it in the NFL. I mean, clearly he's not it, and they're going to have to rebuild. So it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense from their perspective. But can you imagine if this dude does ball out this year, and then he goes and gets 25 on the open market? I mean, it's not ideal, but
he's a bigger version of Nolan Smith.
Yeah, I mean, I asked you pre-show, and I think that's a good comp by you, by the way, because he's great. He's good against the run too. I mean, he's not just a pass rusher; he's a better pass rusher, but he is good against the run. Is he our Josh Sweat?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like not.
After you asked me that,
yeah,
I thought about it again.
He's not Myles Garrett. He's not the best edge rusher in football, but is he our Josh Sweat now? Can he play that role? If he can, then I think this defensive line is going to be able to have great success.
He's going to help Jalen Carter a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think Jalen Carter's going to help him a lot.
Absolutely. I think the problem comes down to this, though. I think you're going to sacrifice reps for Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, 100%. Or if not Jihad, it's somebody. Somebody has to sacrifice reps.
Maybe BG doesn't play after all, like a lot.
BG maybe, right. Could be that. But even then, I mean, let's be real here. Like, I like Jihad Campbell, but Jihad Campbell makes sense on the field as an off-ball linebacker. Like, he's not better than BG right now at edge rusher. He's not.
Yeah, but you can see the difference when the Kobe Dean's on the field.
That's what I'm saying, though. So you still might be looking at Jihad, sacrificing the reps to Jihad, because I just flat out. I mean, I just think
he's not a liability. I want everyone to know that he's not a liability, Jihad Campbell. But when you put Dean on the field, you see it. Okay,
well, that's what
you
John
see
keeps
the
saying.
difference.
Like,
you see
based on how good Campbell's been on the field just in his first couple games. John's like, I don't know how you take that guy off the field. I mean, but right now, I mean, you got to compete for a Super Bowl, man. I need the best guys on the field right now at this moment, not for 26.
I think you'll rotate with Phillips.
I can see that.
I think that's where they're going to go.
I think it could also be as simple as Nakobe Dean's your linebacker in base, and Jihad Campbell's your linebacker in nickel.
Remember, though, Vic don't want to take people off the field. He wants to make sure that you don't up-tempo him.
But, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like both of those backers are capable of both. So if you do up-tempo them, it's not like you're going to get stuck with Jihad or Nakobe on the field. I mean, one might be better than the other at coverage versus the run, but they're both competent, so you kind of have the rare opportunity, That's partly why Vic loves the players that he loves. They have a lot of versatility. They're good at a lot of things.
The Jair Alexander move, what do you make of that?
Not much. I mean, early I was not excited by it, but I think the way I looked at it was, is he better, Silz? Forget the compensation for a second. Forget the splash. Forget the name. Is he better than Ringo or Jackson or Corey Bennett? If he's not, then I think it's a D move. Frankly.
I think if
he's better than one of those guys, then I think it's a good move.
Probably better than Jackson. And I also think what he does is, I think he gives him versatility, Vic, on moving. Remember, in my opinion, Xander, I think the component and the key piece here is Cooper DeJean. If I could put Cooper in multiple different positions, slot, nickel, safety, corner, and if I have more pieces that I feel comfortable with, I guarantee you Vic's not going to have a problem putting him on the field, because he knows. And by the way, he played zone in Green Bay, and that's where he excelled. When they asked him to play man, that's where he kind of fell off the planet a little bit. And I think it's got a lot to do with why Slay's not very good in Pittsburgh. when you play in a Mike Tomlin, you play that 2-eye, but you also have to play some press. And I think that's why Slay looks shitty.
That's when Slay gets cooked. Slay, he's
That's
too old to play press. So, yeah, I mean, look, that's another part of it to where could a 28-year-old, he's not that old. I mean, he was a damn good cornerback in Green Bay, but it's the injuries.
22, he was all pro.
Yeah, I mean, but you pointed out, I mean, he's missed, I think he's played games. 16 of the last 42 games. And you're right, if you go further, it's 40 games he's missed. So, I mean, that is just a crazy game missing rate. I mean, you're not even unreliable at that point. You can't play. I mean,
and he couldn't even get on the field in Baltimore.
Yeah, in Baltimore. So look, there's some problem there, but I'm kind of with Pumper actually here. Like, I think Ringo's still probably the number one option they're going to go with.
I agree.
Doesn't mean it's going to work. Doesn't mean he's going to be good, but it means I think that's the guy that rolls out at cornerback 2 versus Green Bay.
I got to tell you, there's so many phony people in the world. Tucker Kraft getting hurt, great for the Eagles. Does anybody in here actually believe that anybody would want to see a guy get injured, or you're glad that a guy got hurt or any? No, it's part of our conversation, Xander, on being genuine. Yeah. You're telling that right there is this. This is part of the war of attrition.
Yeah.
This is part of being
football, dude. It's football.
Football, right. Yeah. Injuries are part of this sport. So you're not sitting here going like this, well, I'm glad he got – you will never hear me say that, but you will never hear me say this. Hey, I wish we would have gotten a chance to play against, this Tucker kid up here because, it would have been a fair game. Fair game, bullshit. I'm glad you don't have to play against that guy. That guy is a difference maker in ball games. Yeah, that's being genuine.
Well, I think there's a realistic approach of like, I understand people who are like, oh, I want to play the best, but like, that's not realistic. Like that never happens.
Realistic.
It never happens. It's football. Like look at the 100+ year history of football. Guys, injuries are the only inevitable part about this game. So, I mean, I just more view it objectively, like you just said. I mean, they're without Tucker Kraft. They're a worse team without Tucker Kraft. Same thing with Commanders in our own division. I don't want to see Jayden Daniels get hurt. Jayden Daniels got hurt. Guess what? We have a better chance to win those last 2 games.
That's
now.
Right. And they make better when it comes to home field.
Exactly. So it is what it is. Look around the NFL, man. There's a lot of injuries. This year, tons of them. So I think the Eagles are really sitting pretty. I'm surprised. I think I saw that the Eagles are underdogs in that game next week. 2.5-point underdogs in that game in Green Bay. I know it's in Green Bay, but geez, I don't feel like that Green Bay team right now is – I feel like they're kind of hanging on. I mean, Matthew Golden is hurt. Tucker Kraft is hurt.
They got 2 losses, dude. I mean, hanging on.
Well, I just mean from an injury perspective, I don't think that they've proven that they're a 2.5-point favorite over the Eagles.
No,
I don't.
No. I think that's a coin. I think that's about a 1.5 point for the Eagles being favored. I think that number will probably change by game time, Xander. I think it'll change.
Well, they're the home team. So I guess that means what, you get spotted like 3 points?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a huge betting guy, so I don't know much. But
it's funny when you see Eagle guy goes like this. They lost to the Panthers. You lost to the fucking Giants. Stop with that metric.
The Panthers are an all right team this year. The Panthers aren't so bad.
Remember we were talking about them being a more improved football team 100%. This year?
100%. There was a couple teams not to toot my own horn, but that I was on Patriots. I was on the Bears having a better season, and I was on the Cowboys getting second in the East. Now that's not guaranteed yet, but with no Jayden Daniels and with that Giants team falling apart, I mean the Cowboys had the Cardinals tonight. Look, I obviously want the Cardinals to win the football game, but if the Cowboys play their game tonight, I think they should be able to beat the fucking Cardinals without Kyler Murray. I forget who's the quarterback tonight for the Cardinals.
I don't know. Do you know he's a healthy not start?
Yeah. He sucks, Kyler Murray. We've been talking about him sucking for a long time. That guy, the fact that somebody paid him $50 million is obscene.
I mean,
that dude is not.
When I heard he wasn't starting, I go, "What? He must have blown his knee out or something." He goes, "No."
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett. That's who's playing tonight. So I mean, look, again, I think the Cowboys are going to win the game tonight. So they're going to be what? 4-5, 4-5-1.
Yeah.
What will the Cowboys be after tonight? Cowboys
4-4-1.
4-4-1. Yeah, they're 3-4-1. So they'll be 4-4-1 if they win tonight. Now we're still going to be well ahead in the division, but it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I think the Commanders are cooked.
If they win, it'll be a 2.5 game lead over the Cowboys. If they win. That's if they win. You think Howie's finished?
I feel like he's finished. I mean, you got your edge. You got another corner. Unless they're trying to make some sort of a splash, I don't know where it would be. I mean, the craziest part about Howie, and look, I've been critical of him at moments, but this is where I think, like, if you're Angelo, and even in you, and I'm not going to tell you what to say, but I'll push back on some of the things you said. I just think you got to take the good with the bad with this GM. I mean, the fact that we still have 6 picks, Silz, in the first 4 rounds of the upcoming draft with all the trades that we've made this year. And think about it. The Commanders, they have 2 picks in the first 4 rounds coming up. And they're fucking 3 and 6.
I think you're missing.
No, they have a different starting point. I get it. Peters inherited a shit show.
Different. I think you're taking what I'm saying different is that I'm telling the story of the year. And you think I'm indicting him on it. I'm just telling you, I even mentioned throughout the entire show that he pivoted, which makes him better than Adam Peters or even Jason Light with the Bucks. Go ahead. That he had a shit offseason. He's covering for things he lit on fire. And now, but the great thing is that he's pivoting. That's the story, dude. I
don't necessarily disagree.
But that's the truth. What happened?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just think that the context changes the narrative just a little bit. And what I mean is, if the players that you're talking about that we let go, where you say we took a blowtorch, which we did, we took a blowtorch to the defense. But what would the total cost of bringing those players back been for the Philadelphia Eagles as compared to what they have now? Now, they might be slightly worse, but they might have had to make those. That's why Howie, though, Silz, that's why
you're missing that point of my context. And if you want to use context, it wasn't the point that you took a blowtorch to it. You just assumed that you had with these Timo signings and guys on your team, with your over-evaluating, you thought because of your egos that you had the pieces and the players to take up at least some of the damage of some of the guys.
Didn't some of that have to do with the contracts? I mean,
Okay, well, again, like I said, yes, the contracts, you got rid of all those guys because you didn't want to pay them. The guys you brought in.
No, but it's not baseball. You can't just pay every guy.
I didn't say you, but the guys you brought in stunk.
But now you're correcting it with cheaper,
more cost-effective moves that
allowed your team to.
But you're not telling the full story then.
But but my point is that you didn't just let Milton because you were like, nah, we're going to be better without Milton. You let Milton go because you're like, financially, our team can't take on that contract.
But that's not the point. The point is that you took the blowtorch. You thought some of these players that you had on the team and the Timo signings were going to fill some of the gap and the drop-off. It didn't. Now you're making moves today to cover for some of those things that you misevaluated. I even said he pivoted. That's the story.
It was a misevaluation.
It totally was. Look at the moves. His actions.
Dude, they didn't evaluate. They didn't evaluate.
His actions are speaking to that.
No, but
he just traded for 3 corners in 2 months.
I know, but it wasn't about the misevaluation. It was about the money that the guys made. They didn't want to pay the money.
Okay, that's half the story. You're not telling the fact that he brought in nobodies.
No, but they didn't. He didn't say Milton Williams isn't as good as people think he is. We're not going to pay. It was we can't pay that contract.
You're adding not. Here's what happened, and this is the only thing that happened. They took a blowtorch. They didn't want to pay. They had guys on their team they thought could do it. They brought in guys who were Timo guys. They come forward now to the trading deadline and realize we don't have the guys and we were wrong on the evaluation. Now we're going to make a trade. Now we're going to go after 3 corners. I guess Jacorian Bennett blows. This is the story. Yeah. You're missing my point.
I'm not missing. I see what you're saying. I do. I see what you're saying. I get it. It is the story, but I just think sometimes we fall into this trap of we look at things in hindsight with 20/20 vision. It's like sometimes part of what makes GM a hard job is you have to make decisions based on where you are in a given moment.
But I added
those skills. You can't predict the future in April. That you're going to have to do this. You can only go off of what you know. They couldn't pay those guys. They sucked. And then Howie said, all right, we got to get better.
Have you not heard me say they pivoted?
Yeah, I did hear you say they pivoted.
All I'm telling you is a story of the Eagles' offseason and decisions to go back and make it right and pivot. That's what's happening. Okay? That's what happened. I'm not telling you. Listen, he misevaluated. Okay? Now he's assuming that now he's got to go. I don't know how anybody doesn't do this. The whole Keely Ringo thing, you just traded for 3 corners. I mean, I don't know what else to say to you. That's the story.
I get it, but it's Darius Slay made $10 million. I know you don't want to pay that contract,
bro. I'm not.
I know you don't want to pay Slay 10.
So you agree with this? The story was they didn't want to pay him. You couldn't pay everybody. So the guys they had on the team and the guys they signed they were hoping weren't going to have that big a fall off, but it was.
Well, it was, but you know what else changes my perspective on it too a little bit is that, like, when Howie spoke, like, he literally said this to us. Now, some people chose to not listen to him, but he literally said, this is going to look different. This is a maintenance offseason. And he said that openly. Now, again, people have different interpretations of that.
Combines. I heard him.
The way it looks is, all right, they couldn't pay all these guys. And Howie said, it ain't going to look splashy. And I might have to make some trades like he did this, at the trade deadline to get our team back to being able to compete. But it's not going to look as normal as it looks. I'm not going to pay the top defensive lineman that's going to the open market. We can't do it all. It doesn't mean you're wrong that they blew the team up and the replacements weren't good.
Name me one guy he signed this season so far that you think has been a quality pick.
In the offseason?
Now, anytime.
Anytime? Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think the majority of the moves haven't really panned out. They've been all
I can't
really
name
cheap.
one. Now, my boy, I believe my boy's going to play great for you.
Well, I think Josh Uche's been okay. I think the Jaylen Phillips move is a worthy dart. I think, but for the most part, you're right. I mean, a lot of the Temu guys did not work out, and I think you got lucky last year. Not lucky, but there's an element of luck where Zach Bond becomes a fucking all-pro linebacker and he was on the scrap heap. I mean, you're not going to get that every year, and they worked out a little bit less. But I think all in all, it is a balancing act. Like they're not always going to hit. They're not going to hit every year, the cheap guys. Did they do more cheap guys than normal? Yes. I think that has a lot to do with the $250 million offense. The tank at running back is okay. In fact, I think, the biggest knock is like, the best trade that before the Phillips trade that Howie made was bringing back Fred Johnson, who's a guy you let walk out of the fucking room in the offseason. Like, that's one where you're like, all right, you had to really correct your mistake.
I'll tell you what I like about the tank deal. They moved him off of special teams and they moved him into the backfield. I think that saved that trade.
Much better. 100%.
It saved that trade. All right. I think they're going to, tell me if you agree with this. I think what they're going to do is they may make some moves off of like off of other people's practice squad rosters for offensive line for some depth, because the kids that they drafted, would you not agree, have given them nothing?
What kids?
In the O-line.
Oh, the O-line. Yeah, no. I mean, none of them. Even last year's. Trevor Keegan, Dylan McMahon, who was cut at the end of camp last year. You got Cam Williams, you got Miles Hinton, you got Drew Kendall this year. I mean, where are these guys? I haven't even heard their names.
Right.
All these changes in the O-line. Yeah. I haven't even heard them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they drafted their own guys. I don't know if Stoutland said he needs more time with these guys. Remember, a lot of these guys were pretty raw coming out. You had Chris Hinton on, Miles Hinton's father, right after he was drafted. Great interview by you. I don't know if they're just not ready yet, but it does seem like they're going to Pryor, they're going to Toth, and they're going to Fred Johnson before any of those guys are even a thought process. All veterans, so you're right. Now, that would be the one spot. Like, do you think Howie could make another move at a depth O-line piece? I could see that.
Yeah, like a C move in the O-line somewhere.
I just don't know. Like, you already do have, you have Toth, you have Pryor, you have Fred. It's like, are you going to bring in another one of those guys, or are you going to bring in a better guy? I don't know if you'll even find that.
Yeah. I still think there's a deal out there. Don't be shocked about that tight end in Cleveland.
You think Njoku? Yeah, I could see that. Because they need a guy who can block, a second tight end that can block. They lost Johnny Wilson, who was good at that, and they lost Ben Van Sumeren, who, despite different different formations to get him in the game. He could do it. So we'll see.
Are you warming up on Kevin Patullo, unlike Angelo?
Well, I thought Angelo's take was pretty fucking stupid today. A lot of them, to be honest. I mean, he said AJ Brown was better than T.O. today. Like, are you fucking kidding me, Angelo? Like, I love AJ Brown. Like, Terrell Owens, he's like a top 5. He could be a top 3 receiver in the history of football. I got him 4.
He might be the second best receiver in all time.
Really? I got you. All right, let's do it real quick. Jerry is up there, obviously. Megatron, Moss,
Megatron,
and T.O. I had T.O. 4.
Okay, probably in that order.
That was what I had. That's why I put
T.O.'s
top 5.
T.O.'s top 5. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you, again, depending on who you talk to, I'm sure he would be top 2 or top 3 to some people.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Michael Irvin in there too.
AJ Brown is not better than T.O. I'm sorry, Angelo, but he's not. I don't care how many fucking targets he gets or how many receptions he gets.
So Angelo's going on record saying there's going to be a meltdown to 10 wins in the second half.
Yeah, what was that? The best part of the season is behind us. This team is getting better every week. By the way, the other thing, can I just explain to you guys, and I have respect for Angelo because unlike some people, I don't really care if people don't agree with me about sports. It doesn't bother me. I don't care what people think about sports or if their opinions are different than mine. Angelo is playing you guys like a fiddle, all right? He fires you up on everything. And then Sileo asks him about Jalen Hurts, and he goes, he's not even top 5. He's top 2, and he might be the top. He winds you up, and then he gives you a little sucker punch to the gut with a freaking Jalen Hurts take. And you're like, oh, my God, he sucked me right back in with his Jalen Hurts love fest. That's Angelo to a T right there.
That's how you do it.
I know. I mean, he might have you beat Silz in terms of that.
I thought it was a masterclass by him actually in sports.
I'm sure you did.
I thought that was a masterclass here. All right. AJ Brown, Barkley. Who has to have the best second half of the season for the team to get back to the NFC Championship game?
It's Barkley, and it ain't close.
Why?
I hate to break it to you, AJ Brown, but now is the time to shut up. All right, I've been Team AJ, but this team's gonna leave you behind, dude, and you can't blame them. All right, I get it. Receivers are gonna want their yards and their stats. I've been on your team in terms of when you have a 30th ranked offense. Maybe AJ speaking some truth, but at the end of the day, you can't disrupt, a freight train that's moving toward winning. All right, and it might not look how you want it to look. Doesn't mean that there's no, that the offense is free from problems. But my recommendation to AJ Brown would be just get on board because they're going to leave you behind. Saquon, Jaylen, I mean, he's throwing to Devontae Smith more. Dotson's getting involved. I mean, eventually you're going to have to buy in. If you really want to get out of here, go to them in the offseason and tell them you want to be traded. I'm sure they'll oblige and they'll move you if you really want them to. But I think AJ should just shut up. And I think Saquon Barkley is clearly the more important player to this offense right now.
Do you think AJ's agent has gone to Howie and started those exit conversations yet?
I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did.
Don't you think we're going to know if the game plans start to shift more towards more targets to Devontae? Don't you think, Xander? We're going to see whether or not they're pivoting away from him in the second half of the season.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks. That could happen
because they could like the last 2 weeks. No.
Yeah, I mean, but remember, he didn't play the one game, and Devontae had obviously. So Devontae's obviously had a good season, but I've noticed it again, and it doesn't mean I'm perfectly right. I think AJ has more targets actually on the year than Smitty, but the eye test to me right now is that Jalen Hurts is looking for Devontae Smith more than he's looking for AJ Brown. That's just what I see. It doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean the numbers or stats will bear that out. But, if it keeps happening and AJ keeps pissing off the quarterback, because at the end of the day, every time AJ says some shit, who does it come back to? It comes back to Jalen Hurts. Whether he's right or not, that's who it comes back to. Eventually, if you're Jalen Hurts, you're just like, bro, I don't really care what you say, man. I win a lot more games than I fucking lose. And I was the captain of this ship when we went and won a Super Bowl. All right, now I've been one who will be critical of Jalen if I feel like it's necessary. But at the end of the day, We can't keep doing this every week, man. It's dysfunctional. It's stupid. It's not what you do.
It's unbecoming.
It's not what you do to position yourself to be a championship football team. So if you don't want to be that and you just want to go get stats, that's fine. But it's not going to be in Philly, and goodbye and good riddance to you. So we'll see what ends up happening with it. But Saquon's a more important player, and you know who else? It's Jaylen, man. I've been saying it all year. This team needs MVP Jaylen to be alive and present every single game, week in and week out, for the most part, in order to go to where they want to go.
Okay, before we read the supers, a couple more here. One thing about moving forward here in the second half here, when you start out with Green Bay and you got to go to Lambeau, what will the Green Bay Packer game tell you? And I'm going to leave it vague, and you fill in. What will the Green Bay Packer game tell you about the Eagles?
Not that much. I mean, I'm excited for the game, but I don't view it like this is the benchmark of what we are. Like, let me ask you this.
You took a lot away from that New York Giant game that they won.
Well, I think you always take away more from your losses in life than you do from your wins. I think that's a blanket statement.
Took from the loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always take that away. But hear me out. Like, and I don't mean to delegitimize the game. It's obviously a big game versus a big NFC opponent. But hear me out. How much do you take away from the fact that we beat the Bucs and the Rams and the Chiefs in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the year?
A lot.
Like, you take a lot, but you're also like, that doesn't mean you're going to go and win in the playoffs. But it shows you that you're a good team. Yes. So if we win the game, okay, it shows you you're a great team. If you get blown out, you're probably like, maybe we can't hang with the best teams, but at the end of the day, you don't win or lose the Super Bowl in week 10 or week 11 versus the Lions.
Xander, if you get blown out by the Packers on Monday, that's not going to tell me you're a bad team.
Well, it's going to show you that maybe you have a harder time dealing with tougher opponents.
It's going to tell me that everything's wide open.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
I mean, Xander, I think this is wide open for anybody to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, look, I saw the Broncos beat you. Do I think they're better than you? If you played that team 10 times, you're beating them 7. You're beating them 7 times.
Bo Nix has been pretty impressive, and I'm not a Bo Nix guy.
Has he?
Kinda.
You think he's been? I don't. I think he's kind of been. I don't know. Okay. Like, let me take a look at what he's done.
I don't think he wows you, but it's the same thing with. I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like it's the same conversation that we debate with on Jaylen. It's like, is the team winning games, and is your quarterback doing the things he has to do to help you win games, or is he not? You
tell me, Bo Nix is going to complete this year 61% of his passes for 3,600 yards. 32 TDs is high, okay? But 12 picks. How do you think that guy's played? I don't know. I mean, that sounds like helter-skelter and Harry Carey football to me.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a fair way to look at it.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, I think over there is more probably coaching. They get a good roster. That defensive line is playing really good. So, but I don't know. I mean, I was just more saying it because I was a hater of Bo Nix early, where he's an Auburn guy before he went to Oregon, and so I had that in it where I just didn't like him.
Here's a new rumor: Nick Saban to Auburn.
Nick Saban's not going anywhere. Stop it.
I know he's not.
And if he is going somewhere, it's not fucking Auburn. That's not even a fun job. It's a shit job.
Get this, man. People in Auburn started that thing up, and Nick Saban shot that fucker down early today. He goes, if I come back, Did you hear what he did say? If I come back, it's the NFL.
Yeah, dude. What will happen to your Miami team?
Carson Beck. They gambled wrong.
Sucks, dude.
Bro, wait a minute. You ready for this one? So this fucking kid has been trying to reach out to me for the last, I don't know, and I just been blowing him off.
Who?
And I'm going to tell you who. Get this. And I can finally, the head coach of Columbus High School contacts me, Dave Dunn. This is Columbus in South Florida. He goes, Silz, you got to do me a favor, man. Fernando Mendoza went to Columbus. He was my quarterback. And I'm like, Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback at Indiana.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah.
He's in the Heisman race.
He DM'd me, and he goes, I wanted to go to Miami. Miami passed on me and took back.
Oof.
He follows me on Twitter. I didn't even know it. I finally looked at it, and I go, hey, he goes like this. He goes, I've been trying to reach out to you. I go, you got my All-American votes. You're the number 1 quarterback in the country right now. You were the kid at Alabama. I'm like, dude, you're either going to be first or second team. Miami missed on him.
I've been defending your boy Mario, though.
Yeah, but here. Okay, well then, what do you want? Who? James Franklin?
No, wait. No, you missed what I said. I said defending him. I think calls for his job are stupid at this point. I mean, let's be real here. Miami has not had a good run of last 10 years. I mean, last 20 years.
You ready for this? Mario's going to win 10 games this year. It will be the first time since 2003 that Miami had back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, I think you got to look at things all in. I mean, I think he's turned the program around. I mean, Carson Beck is not the right guy. I told you in the offseason, didn't I? I said, Silz, I don't like that you guys got Carson Beck, man.
I tried willing it to be good. I was like this. And like, everyone's like, fire Mario. And I'm like, for fucking who? I go, are you high? The program's in the best shape it's been in 25 years. It's ridiculous. By the way, am I wrong?
By the way,
SMU has been in the college playoff a year ago, and they were in the ACC championship game. We're not talking about a shit football team.
They haven't been great this year, but yeah, they have been okay.
They stumbled a couple times, but they're 4-1 now in the conference. Yeah,
Saban to the U. How about that? Would you like that? So Bob says that. Back to the NFL real quick, and just back to the injury conversation. I hate to say this, but I saw some idiot, by the way, Kim. I think it was your brother. I mean, what a fucking stupid comment saying I wanted this on Jay Daniels. Not what I wanted at all.
Not true.
Never said that. But back to the conversation on him. We always questioned, is that style of play with that style of body going to hold up in the NFL? And obviously, we're not here calling for injuries or any of those things, so please don't go there. But that dude plays a physical brand of football for, he's 180 pounds soaking wet in the National Football League, dude. I mean, he's getting tossed around. He can't stay on the field this year, Silz. It's a litany of injuries. I think he's a great football player, and I want to see him have a long career. But I think that dude's going to need to make some drastic changes to his style of play if he wants to have longevity in this game.
Okay.
Personally.
Well, look at what we've seen in the last month. I saw Brian Dable go after a neurologist in a tent. I saw Dan Quinn put a guy in a game, keep a guy in a game that was up 31-7 with no hope of coming from behind. These head coaches have to protect these quarterbacks, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a poor job at protecting these quarterbacks, man. I mean, when you got a guy and you're getting blown out like that, and you've got a guy, thank God it was a dislocated elbow.
Yeah,
and it wasn't
got lucky,
a broken arm.
I didn't even see it happen in real time. I was not on the football watching last night. I had shit going on in my house, but yeah, I mean, I saw it after, and I couldn't believe that it wasn't guaranteed season ending.
What'd you make of Josh Allen in that game he played? 82% completion percentage in that game against the Chiefs. Hey, dude, I'm going to back up on something I said. That kid Cook, he's good. That running back Cook can play.
What, in Buffalo?
Yeah, that kid's good.
Dude, that kid's a beast.
I thought that kid was decent. I didn't think he was.
No, he's a beast. Yeah, he's good. He's real good. There's a lot of good backs in the league.
By the way, Joey Bosa showed up too.
Yeah, Joey Bosa showed up. Yeah. There's a lot of good backs in the league right now this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, Bijan's playing good. Jonathan Taylor obviously is playing really good. There's a lot of good backs this year.
Let's get to these supers, bro. Got a ton of them.
I think we missed a couple.
We got a bunch. Because there's a bunch of them.
All right, here we go.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you.
I think you missed this one earlier. Ashan, he said, essentially, that third rounder we gave to the Dolphins is the Eagles' third rounder and not the Jets. So they kind of got a fourth, and we kind of got a low second rounder.
That's correct.
Yeah, so the Jets are basically the worst team in football.
Now look, Shine. The worst case scenario, you get a 3 back. The best case scenario is you don't have to address this in the first round of next April's draft. If you have a kid who goes out there and balls for you, you're going to give him a 3-year contract.
See, my biggest problem with the Jaylen Phillips trade, and it's not really a problem, it's just more of a question, is like I don't see them really paying him. Like, I don't. I know even if he plays well, like, I feel like he's leaving. So it's like you need the comp pick thing to work here, and you need to get good production for a half a season.
Howie and Rosenhaus have a great relationship.
I know, but dude, you think they're going to pay him? I mean, all the other guys that they got on that young defense that they got coming up to pay, you think they're going to prioritize Jaylen Phillips?
He's the best edge right now.
100%. Well, maybe, hey, look, maybe it's this. Maybe you pay Jaylen Phillips and you don't pay Nolan Smith anymore.
That's right.
That would make more sense.
You pick his option up. And then what you do is you play the game between Hunt and Smith, and you go like this. I'm going to pay one or the other. Or you let you trade what's his name, Phillips, to a team, and those are your two starters in 2 years. I think the Phillips move puts you.
Yeah, I guess it gives you more optionality. It does.
Right.
It gives you more options. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Good way to look at it. All right. And Bob says it. No, hedges the Nolan bet. I agree.
Yeah,
Best guy gets paid. Interesting way to look at it there.
That's right.
Here's Hangry Dogs. What's up, Dio? Browns players got to be Greg Newsome. I don't think it is. In a fifth year of rookie deal, just like Jaylen Phillips, Newsome much better than Alexander. Make it so, Howie. I feel like it's the tight end.
It is. I don't believe it's Ward either. I mean, there's a bunch of players right now that are tweeting things out and what have you. I mean, while the Browns just released their safety, was an agreement between the player and team. He forfeited $200K. And so now there's a safety out there on the market. Now he'll have to obviously clear waivers.
I don't think they're going safety. I don't think they're going safety.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'd still look at it.
I'd look at it because it might give you some optionality with what to do with like Coop or something like that. But I mean, I don't think they're going to go that route. Hungry, appreciate it, brother. Here's another one. Browns drafted player, tight end, David Njoku. Sills mentioned him before. Yeah, I could see that being an option. Here's Kimberly. Sills, got to give a shout out to Kimberly today. She ran the New York City Marathon. Let me pull up her time. I think it was 3 hours and 47 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 hours, 47 minutes and 26 seconds, and she qualified for Boston. So,
holy crap. Way to go, Paisan.
Yeah,
look at this right here. Kimberly, the Queen of Bayonne. There you go.
That right there deserves some credit. So well done by Kimberly. She said, who do you think is going out? First is Aziz. Well, they put him on IR, Kimberly. So he's on injured reserve. He's already basically, out.
What do you think the rotation will be at edge?
Are you factoring Nolan Smith returning in that? Okay, well, that's not guaranteed yet. I think John brings up a good point there. We were told after the bye week they still haven't opened the window. Now, I know they probably wouldn't do it till later in the week, but
Wednesday.
Ja'Cory and Bennett, they had the same timeline for. They opened up that window. I don't know if he doesn't get that window open.
They don't open it tomorrow. He's not playing this week.
Or Wednesday, right? Or no, it might be Thursday because of the Monday game moves everything back.
Oh, that's right. They play Monday.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see on that. But all right, so I think it'll be Jaylen 1, Nolan 2, probably Jalix and Uche and Graham, combination of the two, maybe.
Yeah. So Campbell's
out. Like, dude, where the hell are you getting Campbell on the field?
You're not. That's what I said.
You're getting him on the field as a linebacker and nickel. That's when you're getting him on the field.
That means his reps, they put him at edge. Way low now, right?
Way low. I mean, look, you bring in all these defensive guys.
Now, wait a minute. Monday.
Nobody's going to lose snaps.
No, wait. Monday, they may be a nickel a lot.
Yeah, they probably will be.
Because you're playing Love.
Yep. With all those receivers. Now they lose Tucker Kraft. He was his top target, man.
Bro, we were talking.
They got Watson back, though, I think. So they got some players.
They did get Watson back, but they were talking about this Tucker being the best tight end. Tucker Kraft.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy how the NFL will humble you, man, isn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
God.
literally last week, man, you mentioned him as the best tight end in football this year. And boom. I mean, just done. Like fucking crazy. But that's football. Here's A-Team. What's up, A-Team? Any chance all these moves mean Cooper to safety full time? It's kind of interesting. Makuba has a lot to work on, and Reed has been flat out bad. Just an idea.
I think
appreciate the idea. I just don't think that's what they want.
I think the idea is to move Cooper around like the Swiss Army knife. I think that's why all these moves, like the Alexander move, the Bennett move, the Carter move, I think all of this has everything to do with Cooper and his versatility. It's about putting Cooper in the best position to help the defense. Cooper is the linchpin here. So I think it's about Cooper playing. I don't think they want a set position like that for him.
It's because, Curtis, they're stopping the run in base. That's why. In nickel, they need in coverage, man. And Campbell's been better in coverage. That's why.
That's right.
But I hear what you're saying. Here's Pumper. Pumper, it just keeps getting worse for you, my friend. He said, we don't need it. He said he wanted Chubb. We don't need another tight end for Jalen Hurts to not pass to. Just play the guys. Can't keep crying for more when we did 9 trades already. Greedy motherfuckers.
They haven't made a trade for one offensive player, have they?
What do you mean
The running back.
What do you mean tight end he doesn't throw to? How many fucking guys do you need him to throw to? The tight end in Philly right now is like leading the NFL in touchdown catches. What more do you fucking need, Pumper? You're telling me what more do we need? You're the greedy motherfucker. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. The guy's fucking doing what it takes to win. What more does your ass need, Pump?
Come on, Pump. Pump's getting screamed at. Oh, man. Hey, Pump. Another tight end would be good, man, especially a blocking one for the run game.
Curtis says, no, Z, in base when you have 3 backers, is that not Bondine and Camp? Well, no, they're going to do an edge. It's going to be, they're labeled as a backer. That's why John hates the labeling. But it's going to be an edge. It's going to be probably Jalix or Nolan or Jaylen Phillips in that base. It's not going to be Campbell. It's not going to be Campbell.
Agreed. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I hear it again. I hear what you're saying.
He's not going to have a ton of reps now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. All right. I mean, Silz, honestly, I feel good, dude. I feel good. And I know people love to just put it on me that I'm the Eagle homer. I got to go out. I really try not to. I always try and view football as objective as I possibly can. And that's why some people get mad at me. And
I don't think
I've always tried to be honest. I feel like the Eagles right now are positioned better than any NFC team. I really feel like that.
Okay.
I feel like we going to LA, Silz. We going to LA, Silz.
Well, if you're going to LA, you ain't going anywhere. You mean Santa Clara.
Santa Clara, what the fuck? Whatever it is.
You're going to Frisco.
Yeah. California. It's all the same to me, dude. I'm an East Coast guy.
All commies.
You Left Coast weirdos.
Hey, all commies, man, right?
Santa Clara is what? The Niners Stadium?
Yeah, the Niners.
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah.
Place
they
get in, get out of there.
They don't serve beer. They serve white wine spritzers.
Yeah, really.
Did we get all the supers?
We got them.
Bro.
I wasn't anti-her. These people are so stupid. Reyes, football is a constantly changing game with constant new information and new data. Constantly.
Over here.
I mean, come on, Reyes. And by the way, Reyes, when you have Super Bowl and championship standards, you have higher standards than the rest.
That's a home right there.
Don't come in here and say, don't hold Jalen to Super Bowl standards, to championship standards. I view it as a great compliment to Jalen Hurts to hold him to standards that are higher than the rest of the quarterbacks in the National Football League. That is a compliment, M. Reyes. Only a fanboy sucking his binky like you would get their panties in a bind over it.
Would you make it a World Series?
Oh, my gosh. What a fucking baseball game. What a baseball game. That was incredible. I mean, I was glued to my damn TV, dude, watching that.
Get this. My wife and my kid and me were watching that game. You know what, dude? Baseball's been around for 159 years. I was thinking to myself, that's what it must have been like in the 50s when you were watching your radio. We're sitting there watching that iconic. I mean, dude, ends in a double play. Remember when the guy was sliding into the home plate? Toronto had the bases juiced twice. I mean, bro, get this.
That's crazy.
You had Yamamoto.
What was your favorite play in that game? Because there were so many good ones.
The home run in the ninth. What was it? In the ninth.
Yeah, in the top of the ninth.
In the top of the ninth. The guy hits the homer, and it wasn't Ohtani. It was just a roll. Do you want to hear this?
Dude.
The Dodgers hit 202 in the series.
It's crazy, dude. They were not the better baseball team in the series. They weren't. I saw somebody say that. They're right. I mean, that team was,
202. They hit fucking 202 in the series.
how about that play at the plate too, man?
Oh, that was
man.
the game. It was by inches. It was all over social media. You saw how close the Toronto Blue Jays had won to winning the World Series.
Joho, go back to your hole and shut the fuck up, Joho. All right?
Joho.
Here's Philly Don. With Graham and Phillips filling the 53, how will Howie make room for Smith and Bennett now? Somebody's going out.
Yeah.
I like to catch too, Siglor, where he ran over that bitch ass Kike Hernandez. That guy always makes big hits though, but he is a little bit of a bitch ass. He got ran over. That was awesome, man. That was great.
He did. He ran his ass over, man.
Hernandez,
How great was Yamamoto?
Oh my gosh.
He pitched 92 pitches the day before. It comes back and goes in there again, 3 innings.
It's amazing. I mean, amazing what he was able to do.
How about this, Danner? I got one thing here. Get this. Somebody said this on my morning show. Yamamoto was the man who architect of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. You had 3 Japanese players. You had a black manager that won the World Series. I mean, only in baseball can you have that kind of drama in theater and history. And I mean, crazy great. I really enjoyed it. That was one of my favorite World Series, if not my favorite World Series I've ever seen.
Wait, so the Super Bowl's in Santa Clara. How far is Big Silz from Santa Clara?
10 hours. Not San Francisco, bro.
So it's down.
No, it's up. It's not far.
Wait, where the fuck am I? What am I thinking? You can see I wasn't great in geography.
In the Bay Area.
I don't study up on left coast geography.
I could go to that thing actually.
California map. You're in San Fran. Duh, I'm thinking of LA. I don't know why I keep mixing up LA and San Fran.
You know, my wife can also get credentialed.
I need you to get me a credential for a national credential.
Okay.
I got a plan. I'll tell you. I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. Listen, I'll put you and Brian McCarthy together. He's the head of all national. I don't think it'll be a problem. Brian McCarthy's name is. He's the head of NFL credentials. And get this, one day me and my wife showed up to the San Francisco Super Bowl. You know what we did? They didn't have my credential ready. Brian McCarthy goes like this. Go ahead. I'll get you. Go sit down at Radio Row because it was Radio Row. He goes like this. He credentialed my wife.
Yeah, well, if I can get it.
Kim has been Kim was a national producer. So they could credential her at any time because they've got history with her.
All right, Sills, good show, brother. I think we got everything.
Yeah, I gotta pay some bills here, Xander. But hey, how about this? One last time here. B+ on the Jaylen Phillips deal. I think the Alexander thing. Let's see what happens. Maybe he fits in the zone. But I get this. They got better today.
They got better.
I think they got a lot. By the way,
and the bigger news though, the rest of the league got fucking worse today.
Yeah.
All the best teams look like they got a little worse. All right.
All those other guys aren't doing dick. I mean, it's crazy. He's just running.
Packers lost some key players and lines just look like they got chinks in the armor.
Look at
They're in a good spot for the Birds.
I never moved off. I never.
Yeah, use it. Somebody said it. You're letting these guys dictate, huh? Yeah.
No,
you don't own your own show.
The storyline dictated, actually.
I know, you're right. It is. The storylines are big. You think Howie makes one more move or no?
I do. I think it's going to be like a C move somewhere in there, probably for depth, something like that. All right, Big Z, let me pay some bills.
Later, dude.
Great stuff, Xander. Great weekend for you, too. All right, friends. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. They win. You see all the commercials all over the television set. You hear them on radio, and you see them right here on the National Football Show with us. By the way, John Morgan's coming on Wednesday, and we're going to talk some sports with John Morgan. That'll be Wednesday at 5:30. Tell you this all the time. John made this company with his wife Ultima for a reason, to make sure families across the country are defended anytime you've been injured on the job or anywhere. Folks, do me a favor. The easiest decision you'll ever make is with Morgan & Morgan. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Silz or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Silz or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Silz sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Okay, so tomorrow, because you guys wanted him, Coach Jason Brown is going to be with us tomorrow at 4:30. So we're trying somebody out here. This guy's got a massive following. Okay? And we're putting Coach Jason Brown on tomorrow at 4:30. And we're going to see how this guy goes. All right, guys. Appreciate you very much. The quest now for the second half of the season. They've got a game on Monday night against Green Bay. We'll talk a little bit. I think I got the Cowboys tonight against Arizona. We will see you tomorrow going 2-6. Big Z. Joe, thank you. 2-6 tomorrow. See you on the flip side.